And we are live. Hey everybody, this is Roberto Blake, helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back. We have a jam-packed session for you today, brought to you by all of our wonderful sponsors. They're going to be linked in the description down below if they're not already. Streamyard, our friends over at OpusClip, and of course, Kajabi. Today I have with me my good friend Derral Eves, and we're going to be talking about how you can refine your YouTube strategy for 2024. We're going to go over things you have not heard before, so strap in. This is not going to be repetitive. You might know Derral from the many channels he's grown to 1 million subscribers, vis-a-vis all of the play buttons in his background, working with MrBeast, and of course, creating the tremendous Vid Summit, the place to be. Hope to see you all there next year. How's it going today, Derral?
Really good today. Woke up, had a lot of energy. Was really excited for this discussion because every time that we get together, we like to go in deep, both you and I. And I think it's a subject that's really going to benefit a lot of people, especially with their strategy in 2024.
I agree. And, you know, we're big old data nerds over here. You know, we're big fans of case studies, and there's a lot going on. Is there anything you want to tease us with for the time that we're going to spend together? And how much time do you have today? Do you have 90 minutes today, or is it an hour straight?
It's an hour straight, yeah. So just to let you know, I just got back from Brazil yesterday. And what's interesting about Brazil, I actually did a tweet, and you kind of responded to that tweet, which is I was actually in an office with one of my clients down there, and they had a diamond play button. Now, if you don't know what a diamond play button is, that's when you get 10 million subscribers. What I didn't say in the tweet was how fast they got those 10 million subscribers. And you actually brought new knowledge to me that I had no idea of what countries in the world that had the most play buttons. And I always thought that US was number one.
India.
Like India cleans our clock on that. But I didn't know that Brazil was number 3 either. So it was like really, really interesting. But I showed a diamond play button and I think 6 gold play buttons, you know, with what they were doing. And it was in the country of Brazil. And I says, you know, Brazil's on fire. They love YouTube. And there's so many big opportunities. Well, that client got a diamond play button. That's 10 million subscribers in 12 months. So 1 year, they were able to start from 0 to get to 10 million subscribers. And what I was trying to express is things are really happening on YouTube. And instead of just looking at YouTube from your own geographic area, it's literally for the world now. Like no ever process before. It's like the world is now at your fingertips, and there's ways and strategies that we're going to talk today that are really going to help you prepare for not only what you do today, but what's going to impact your growth of your channel.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about that. So do you want to go ahead and get us started? And then for everybody else, I'm going to stay a bit after Derral to do some Q&A with you guys and talk more about this, and maybe even go through some other strategy stuff. But Derral, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things when it comes to YouTube is understanding the goal of YouTube. So the goal coming from YouTube's perspective is they want to do 2 things. They want to predict what the viewer wants to watch. Okay, that's really important for YouTube. And then keep them on the platform longer and actually have them come back very specifically. And for me, it's really around understanding the dynamic of what YouTube's looking at. And so it's an AI that's running YouTube, and it has those 2 goals. Now, the interesting thing is where it was started in the US, we think that all YouTube is in the US. But what I'm here to tell you right now, that 70% of what's happening on YouTube today happens outside of the US and also in different languages. And so we're a very, very small subset of actual viewership that's actually coming from the United States. And so it's like literally more global than ever before. And for me, I've worked with the biggest creators on the planet. And one of the creators that I work with specifically is MrBeast. And he's actually a partner of mine. We own Vid Summit together, and we have a couple other things that we do. And for me, he wanted to be the biggest creator on the planet. And that meant something to him. And at the time that he had this journey and this mission, I mean, he only had about 6 million subscribers, but he had this vision of what he wanted to do. And knowing when he found out that only less than 30% of all views that happen on YouTube is only in US and in English, then it's like, how do we branch out more? And so right now, when he releases a video, he's basically releasing a video that has hundreds of millions of video views in just about 14, 15 days. And you're wondering how. Well, he's able to go deeper into getting his content in what they call multi-language audio. So he's able to have 16 tracks, up to 16 different languages that people can actually connect to that video content. Now, I was just in Brazil. And what's really crazy in Brazil, people know who MrBeast is. And I always ask them, do you watch the English channel or do you watch the Brazilian Portuguese channel? And they says, well, we watch the videos in Portuguese. And it's so great because they're able to connect and really go. And so when you look at how he's able to get a whole bunch of views in a very short amount of time, he's literally getting 100% of the opportunity to get people to click because it's in their language of the most used languages on the platform. So for me, it all comes back down to that. And I truly am excited about where the technology is merging with creators, and there's a lot of tools now to really help us really succeed. And for me, it's really understanding those tools and understanding how to leverage the tools so that when we're creating something awesome, we can actually go out for a farther, bigger reach. And so for me, that's what it's about. When it comes back down to YouTube, is really understanding now literally the world is our audience and we can actually tackle them in unique ways. And so how do we actually need to do that? And so for me, it's more about that. And Roberto, one thing that you mentioned very specifically, and I really love this on that tweet, was in that thread, so many people are like, no way, I can't believe that US is number 2. I always thought they were number 1, but it's India. India is number 1, and right now, they do have the biggest channel in the world, and it's MrBeast is coming up very quickly onto that. But when you look at YouTube, when you first started, were you just kind of looking at the US lens, and now how are you approaching it now when you're creating content?
Primarily US and English speaking. Great question. And today I would approach it and think largely in the same mind, but not quite entirely, meaning that right now, what I'm looking at and what I was looking at in the very beginning was I was a how-to tutorial channel. A lot of people don't realize I didn't start in the YouTube help space. I actually started with the skills that would make you a content creator, because that's how I was a freelancer full-time. That gave me a time advantage in YouTube. Since I had a background in graphic design, camera gear, photography, and I'm a big old tech nerd, I was doing that type of content, and that gave me several unfair advantages compared to most beginners today, because I had those things and was savvy, and I had something I could prove that I was good at in the content itself.
That's right.
And so that was very helpful to me, and I got to 100,000 subscribers with that content. I barely touched anything for how to grow on YouTube. Most of any YouTube help related stuff I did back then was camera, editing, what to buy, the tech side of YouTube. From a growth and production standpoint, similar to our friend Sean Cannell and his team at Think Media. I didn't touch YouTube growth until I had 100,000 subscribers myself. If I was doing it differently today, what I might have done is I might have set myself up to where it would be theoretically easier for my content to scale and translate globally, because the software and tech stuff that I was doing could have a global audience. There are Adobe software users all over the world.
Yeah, that's right.
All over the world. There are graphic designers and artists all over the world that use tech and tools. If I were starting from zero today, doing the same type of content in tutorials, how-to, and tech, I would have been positioning myself and I would have been planning my outlines and scripts for my videos a little bit to better for localization, translation. And I would have made sure that my Photoshop and my thumbnails were set up so I could easily replicate them in multiple languages. And today I'm thinking more about that than ever.
Yeah. And the reason why is the writing's on the wall, right? So technology's coming at a pace and creators are trying to extend their reach. And whether I don't believe they hit total saturation on it, even if they're like the #1 most dominant channel, there's always people discovering these creators that are coming onto YouTube. There's a different thing, but now it's just like, oh no, like the patterns that YouTube looks for, and we're talking YouTube the AI, is the patterns in predictable content for those types of creators, right? So if they understand, oh, these people like this type of content, then there's a high probability they like this. And based on that optionality of giving that viewer, whether it's down the right hand of the video, or if it's on mobile, it's below, an option for them to click, or it's on the homepage, an option for them to choose something. That choice literally is that pattern that YouTube look for, is to really extend it out. Now, the crazy thing about it is we're always thinking localized first. We do. It's just in our nature. We're thinking, oh, and when I say localized first, it's like only the people in our country or that speaks our language that is passionate around this topic. Because if they don't speak our language, they're not going to connect with the message, even if they love it so much. And so for me, it's more now we have the emergence of technology that we're able to really understand, oh, this is going to take us a lot further and bring the world a lot smaller. And that's what I love. That's what I love. And I think there's a lot of examples. So if we can go to this slide real quick, Roberto, this is like something I want to show. And I gave this example just in the beginning, but it's like MrBeast, the reason why he's able to get hundreds of millions of video views on video releases is because he's trying to hit a global approach. It's not just the English. Like he was topping out right around 10 to 15 million within a 48-hour period. And I know that seems crazy, but that's kind of where he topped out. Then it would kind of build up over time to where he was getting hundreds of millions. And so instead of doing hundreds of millions in like 3 months, it was like literally getting it truncated down to about 48 to 72 hours that he was getting the same amount of views because he was hitting a more to the masses. And so for me, it's always been about that. And what I really want people to know is there's several ways that you can do this in YouTube. One is you can start a channel, and this is one that I'm probably more pro. If you're really honed in on changing every element to make a localized experience for a language. We have multiple YouTube channels in different languages, and I want it to be so localized that everything that they see visually is going to be translated, from the title to any graphic elements that we're using in the video, and then two, making sure the dubbing is correct. But you can see that MrBeast actually went through, and this is a part of the strategy that he did several years ago. And he started saying, hey, I have all this amazing content. I want to further my reach, and I don't care if I need to start a new channel. I already have that content. I know the content works. We just need to be able to get the dubbing. And so he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars getting voiceover actors and everything to produce this stuff. And now with technology, we can do it just at a click of the mouse. It's crazy what can happen. And so for us, that is the strategy. But what I really love is when creators think bigger. And I know you and I have always had this discussion, and I love having this discussion with you because, we can go on for hours and days sometimes just on this subject. But it's like there's so many people out there that are looking to discover your content. And there's a bigger audience out there if you'll just appeal to them. And one of the best ways to appeal to them is making sure that it's in their language. And for me, YouTube did that long time ago, like almost 7 years ago, is where they first started. And they started to change out titles. And then two, you could do they actually did a lot of community, that they like make sure that everything was translated in their language, and so on and so forth.
Closed captioning for the transcripts.
Exactly. And so for me, it's about having more greater reach, and I think YouTube's always had that goal of really going out to the world, getting that content out to the world, because the viewers are out there. And so let me talk about another problem. We can kick away for the slides for 1 minute. But this is a problem that YouTube's had faced for over 7 years, which is this, Roberto. In the emerging markets, there's not a lot of content creators. And so they did something, and I'm so surprised that they never really shared this publicly. but they would actually go into places and hire people to be YouTubers. Did you know that?
I had heard about this as a global initiative. I forgot what it was called, because I also remember in the very earliest days of YouTube, there was something I think that was called the Channel One Initiative.
Yep.
They initially invested, I think, in I think it was 20 or 50 creators, $1 million. And the best ones to come out of that were Philip DeFranco, Crash Course, and SciShow. That was in the Americas. And that was back in, I want to say 2009, 2010, something like that.
Yeah, it was 2008, 2009. But yes, that's exactly right. And so from that, what was interesting too was they would do that globally. They say, oh, here's a new audience that we have advertisers that we can go reach. So we actually have viewership there. We need content creators, in their country, in their language. And so that's something that they're able to do. But when YouTube saw it, it's like, well, there's a lot of content out there, but they can consume more, because remember, the goal is to predict what the viewer wants to watch and keep them on the platform longer. Well, the best way to do that is to give them more options, having that optionality. And so part of that is getting it all translated, and that met a need. But now, even further, they just announced a few months ago that they have this new feature called multi-language audio, so that you could actually switch out the audio tracks like I was showing you that MrBeast did. And when YouTube surfaces the video for them, it automatically plays in the language that they're logged into YouTube. So if they're logged in Spanish, it automatically plays in Spanish if you actually have that Spanish track. And so for me, you're starting to really bring this together, where YouTube is doing what it wants to do, which is getting more content for the viewers outside of it, because that's 70% of all views that are coming outside of English-speaking United States. And they wanted to be able to localize it there. And so they're really, really on that initiative from there. And so what I want to show you next is where I'm really excited. And you know me, Roberto, we've been friends long enough. I always like to see what's happening in 5 years, and I'd like to talk about it today of where we're in 5 years. And it's really interesting if you go back and see the things that I always bring up at Vid Summit. We're at that point. And I truly do believe we're at the biggest point in YouTube's history outside of the first YouTube Partner Program. Like, I really do. And it's so much so that I'm jumping back into the game, and I'm going to actually start doing YouTube more seriously than ever before, because now it's that point where it's almost like the gold rush. And the gold rush is actually happening in a unique way. So now, if you're not familiar with the gold rush, in California, they found gold, and everybody was rushing over to stake their claim, because everybody was just, really, really honing in on this huge opportunity, and they made a ton of money during that time, but it brought more people into it. And so I think that we're at the beginning stage of the gold rush. But the gold rush, what we're talking about, is the gold behind me. It's like literally gold play buttons.
I think this would be the third golden era of YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very much so. And so for me, it's now the opportunity for that. And I do believe that this year is going to define the stages of what YouTube's going to do, but we know what YouTube's going to do based on past behavior. Okay. And so right now they're seeing this huge need. They're making tools and giving monetization opportunities for creators to do this. And then ultimately it's going to extend what they're trying to do, which is getting more localized content out into the world and really bring the world a lot closer together, because there's content in so many different languages. And so for me, I think we're at that age. And I know that a lot of content creators, they'd really get kind of hung up. They're like, well, my market's this, and this is all I can get. Well, I mean, no. You're like hitting a small subset. What happens if you would start localizing it in different languages, and instead of getting 30%, well, they're not even getting 30% of the views. That's total saturation of the United States market. They might be getting 0.01%. What happens if we can bring that up to 10?
Exactly. And it's so interesting. And right now, currently, the overwhelming majority of traffic on YouTube, I think I saw something that said that 90% of all traffic on YouTube goes to only 3% of channels on the overall platform. So the majority...
I wonder what 3% of those channels that they're going to.
Exactly. I really don't wonder. Yeah. We know. You and I know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But what I do love though, and I think that this is now more of a global landscape, you need to think bigger. You need to create bigger, and I think it's more how do we take people through a process of. And so what I want to show you is what I think the roadmap is for YouTube. And I'm going to give you this example of a podcast. It's a Next Level Soul podcast. So this is a podcast. He brings guests on, he interviews them, and he does really well. Like when you really break it down, I mean, his average view duration on this channel is about 40 minutes, you know, and his average upload, you know, is an hour and a half or something like that. That's what he usually does. And so he has really, really loyal audience, and people love the content, and you can see he's able to consume. And he's posting 5 times a week, you know. And so for me, this is where I think the gold rush is different. So there's a difference for people that are looking to capitalize on staking their claim and start sifting for gold, right? Because that's what they were doing. And then people that already have a gold mine. So this Next Level Soul already has a gold mine. And you know what the gold mine is? It's the 1,000 videos that he has in his library. Like he literally has 1,000 videos in his library just waiting for more audience. And so when this happened, and I want to give you Alex's example. So I got on stage at Vid Summit. So if you go to Vid Summit, I'm always telling you what I'm doing. I always do. And I'm showing case study. And I got up there and it says, look, it's more about a global audience. You need to go there. Well, Alex says, hey, I want to be a part of this. Help me navigate this. I says, okay, we're gonna go. This is literally your gold mine. Let's go ahead and do the first language out to the world. And I says, okay, tell me what language should that be? And he goes, I don't know. I'm like, well, you're Latino, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, you're married to a Latina, right? Yeah. So what language should it be? like it should be Spanish. Like, let's not confuse it. He's like, well, no, there's higher CPMs over there. I'm like, you're missing the point. The point is, that's the easiest thing for you to validate. Is it going to work or not? And so for me, in October, he launched this channel. It was Next Level Soul Espanol. And all he did was started to see, hey, these would be great videos to launch with. And then also, these are great videos that would actually engage. And then he did title thumbnail that was very specific to that. So this channel, he went out and switched out everything that I told you normally would do, right? He switched it out and literally had it dubbed where people can actually watch his content, and now they can do it in Spanish. Now, what's interesting, and this is what I love to show, is here's his graph. This was Vid Summit right here. He took action. I love action takers, by the way. Like, this is my favorite thing. It's just like, I love action takers, right? Look at this graph. Like, it wasn't even, like, he was monetized in 14 days. 14 days. Okay, now you're thinking, okay, that's great. You know, what's happening? Well, look at what he's did. He actually created an audience and was getting, you know, about 100,000 subscribers off of content that he produced a year or two ago, right? And look at the view count. I think there's people that are starting new channels that would say, oh man, I wish I would have had 160,000 views in the last 48 hours. Well, the great thing about it is he's able to grow this where he's not only grown a loyal audience, but this is one of my favorite graphs in analytics. I think it's underutilized. It's your audience tab. But this purple line right here means loyalty. Okay. The blue lines is, oh, they watched a video. Okay. It's basically a new viewer versus a returning viewer. So new returning viewers, they come back. Look at this. People came in and you had this new viewership come up right here in this blue. But look at this purple. It just started to climb and then it went above the blue and now it has a loyal audience. So anytime that he posts a video, he has a loyal audience that's craving for it. I've never seen it happen that fast on a new channel. It usually takes you a good 6 months before you even get anything like this. Like, you just don't normally get stuff like this. Like, you'll have blue, and then purple will come up at times and then come drop down, and it's just getting that loyalty factor. Well, he was able to get it out of the gate because he already knew what was the best performing videos on his main channel, and he started with some of the what we call buckets, like the ones that actually will hit in a unique way. And he gave them enough content that they started to see, oh, here's a new video that I watched. Okay, it was this in Spanish. And then he'd go back to the homepage and they notice, oh, here's another recommendation. I like that. Click on it. And they started to watch 2 videos. And before you know it, look at this graph. That's what I love. And so for me, you're able to see this. Now, I'm going to give you another thing. So he says, okay, Spanish is done. I'm doing German. And if you look at just in the amount of time, so like he literally has 1.1 million views coming from his German channel, okay, mind you, in just a short amount of time. So he started this the first of the year, okay? This is the channel right here. You can see 14,000 subscribers. And what's interesting is this, it does the same thing. Look at that. It just took off, same amount of time. Now, the difference is he got monetized in 8 days. The other one was 14 days, got monetized in 8. And yet this grew at a faster rate. This grew at a faster rate, Roberto. Look at this, 1.2 million views in that short amount of time. And the crazy thing about it is doing the exact same thing before. The only difference is this is in German, hitting the German audience. And you can see that loyalty factor is now above where it was before. And so for me, you know, we actually developed a tool. You can see it at dittodubbing.com, dittodubbing.com. And I'm gonna, you want to stick on here because I'm gonna show you how it works. And I got some things for you. But if you go, and you don't even need to sign up in the sense of buying a package or anything like that. Like you just put you go to dittodubbing.com and join. You're gonna get some free training, and it's actually gonna happen next Friday, where I go way in depth and give you a lot of case studies. So you want to be able to do that, and it's basically showing you what to do and why to do it, and the honing in on the years and years and years of experience. Because most people are just coming into the space, but I've been doing it for over 8 years. And it is something there. Now I want to stop on this one, Roberto. Let's go back because this is really, really important when I get to this. And I'm gonna share my screen because I actually picked the same video you did, but I just did it like 2 minutes before the live stream started, and I want to show you how fast it is. Okay.
All right.
And then check this out. So he did that one, and he's like, okay, what's next? Okay, let's do French. Okay, French took a little bit longer. Started right at the first of the year, right? Took a little bit longer, and you can see that it took about a month before it really started to pop off, but then it popped off. Now, the interesting thing, look at it's doing the same type of thing in that. So all we're doing is localizing it in a unique way, and you can see that all this is happening on this. Now, this is one of my favorite examples, and this is someone that does DIY content, and she says, I don't know if it was going to work for me because, you know, I really do it to the North American female. And I says, well, do you realize that Spanish and English are about, you know, 50-50 right now in the US? It's just there's a lot of people that speak Spanish. And you're able to hit them in a unique way. It's just going to be translated into their language. And then 2, there's a lot of advertisers in the US to do it. Well, she launched it in less than literally 7 days. This is what happened in 7 days on her channel. You can see it just popped off, literally popped off. And so what I want to do next now is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go to this, and this is what I love this. It just gets me excited. But I'm going to go to dittodubbing.com. So it's dittodubbing.com. And I want to just show you how easy it really is. And so if we can go to my my screen, there we go. And so when you go and sign in, you can test the tool out for free. You're able to do that. And then if you sign up at dittodubbing.com, you're going to be on the free training that comes up in a week that you don't want to miss. And there's some other training that you're going to have access to, which is really awesome. And so for me, I want to show this example right here, and this is a really good example. This is actually my keynote at Vid Summit, where I announce a lot of the stuff that's going on and how I'm obsessed with YouTube and whatever. And this is what it sounds like real quick.
There, you have to turn it up or something. It's very low.
Okay, so that might be because, you know, the way that it's set, because I'm getting it perfect, but I don't know if you're able to hear it, because if you're not able to hear it, you might need to share yours.
That's what I'm thinking. I might have to share mine.
Because the only difference I was going to actually show a few of these
Different
examples here
and the variety.
yeah, the variety of it, and then you can see that like when I literally just minutes before we jump on, I did this one, and I did it in multiple languages. And
what I'll do is while we're looking at mine in Spanish, I'll see if I can process it in like
why don't we do this? You have Spanish. Let's do a couple weird languages. Like let's do Arabic. It's not really weird, but it's like it's one of the harder languages.
One of the lesser like.
Este fondo es una pantalla verde. Hoy les enseñaré cómo hacerlo. Así de fácil lograrás un efecto perfecto en Adobe Premiere Pro.
And that sounds just like me.
Now here's the thing, and this is true because it's like where a lot of people speak multiple languages. I speak 3 languages, and part of that is really if you go back up to Arabic real quick, just go to Arabic, and then if you roll over the
there it is.
Yeah, no, don't hit add. Go take it off there. Go over and then select. Click that and then do. Let's do United Arabs real quick right there, and now hit add languages down below. Okay, but the reason why I bring this up is when you speak multiple languages, there's like tonality and I was trying to show you from my point of view, and I think where I'm a guest and I can't, I don't know how the audio works on that side. I just, I'm usually like a presenter or whatever, but basically the AI is detecting the voice, and there's a lot of AI translation dubbing out there, but the one that's different on this one is this was actually built for creators by creators. And so the reason why we're doing this is that gold play button right there, okay, is a TV show that I produce, and it's called The Chosen. And we do a lot of content, and we're looking to globalize. In fact, the TV show is going to be translated into 600 languages. And on our social strategies, I want to do about 70. And so for me, I wanted to see if there's any tools out there that would be good for it. And they just weren't up to par. Some of them are really good in some aspects, but they couldn't get the nuance. They couldn't go way in depth. And when I did a YouTube presentation, I used very specific words that is only meant for a certain community. And that is like so critical. And for me, it's about really honing in on your audience and predicting the audience, but it's also the niche that you're going after. You have to make sure the translation is really good. And so we built this around that, where it could check your environment. So if I'm on stage, it's my stage persona voice, not just a voice clone. Okay, but it's like, no, you're on stage. Or when I'm live in studio, I have a different cadence, and it sounds differently. I'm not as animated in a lot of those settings that I am like on a stage. Well, it recognizes that, and then it really hones into that as well. And so for me, when you really break it down, there's a lot of opportunity here to really hone in on the translations, because now AI has brought it to a tool that we're able to use as creators to do stuff really, really quick and really, really accurate. And so you come from, wasn't your dad a native Spanish speaker?
Panamanian, native Spanish speaker.
Yeah.
English is his second language. I was getting to a point of some fluency until my grandmother passed away, because I spoke to her in Spanish. All of my grandparents are from Panama.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this, I don't know if you just picked regular Spanish. If you go back to my screen, I actually regionalized it. If you go back to my, not my slides, but this one, I actually regionalized it. So I wanted Mexico. And the reason why I did Mexico is because Mexico is the most viewed language in Spanish. It's like there's not even a close second. You could take all South America, and it's probably, I would say 30% of what is coming in from Mexico. So Mexico's huge, but then also the U.S. A lot of the people here in the U.S. are from Mexican descent, and they're here, and so that you have that opportunity. Now, two, knowing kind of dialects and so on, there's certain words that are universal across the board. Well, but if you're regionalized, there's certain words that are very specific. And so we're going to the granularity of what region that you're from, because like, oh, okay, you're from Mexico, or you're from Spain, or you're from South America. And so the one you clicked on is actually South America. And it's more regionalized, but we wanted to hone in on that one because that was the most used language there. Now, what's amazing from this is you have all these languages. I wanted to show German, but I'll let you do it on your end. But I want to show you one other thing, because a lot of people think that this is only for the people in the US. Some of the biggest creators on the planet that I ever met, and the most talented people, they don't speak English very well. And I'm here to tell you, I actually have a student here that has a German channel, and he popped off in Germany. Like, he's like literally the #1 guy over there in Germany. And he's like, man, I speak English, but people come to my channel, and I wouldn't feel as comfortable speaking English, for my channel. And I feel like there's like a block. Well, this is where the tool gets really cool, Roberto, is we've made the choice that every time when you upload a video, that it's actually going to bring an accent in. And so where you were able to speak to your grandma, and if you speak from anyone to Panama, they're from Panama just by the way they speak. And it's just the language that they use, but also the way that they might cut off, because like in Panama they cut off some S's a little bit, and they like to truncate their sentences a little bit, right? Well, this is that way around the world. Now, for me, there's a couple accents that work really well on YouTube. One is the UK and Australian accent. If you have a UK Australian accent, it generally will get you more views. It just does. It just does. It is proven fact, right? And then two, there's certain markets that it sounds like, especially in the medical technology side, if there's a hint that you can kind of tell they're German, or Slavic, or whatever, they're like, oh, okay, they must be way into science or whatever. There's that subliminal thing for the US. And so for this one, he's actually reverse engineering his content. So he's not doing it just in German. Now he's hitting the English market, and his channel's exploding. And I'm going to play it once again. Hopefully that this plays this time, but if it doesn't, you'll have to trust me. It's really good. So. Can you hear that?
It's extremely low. Did you, when you did your screen sharing, did you hit the thing for capturing the audio in StreamYard?
I mean, it's usually always that way. Are you saying for share the screen?
Yeah, for share the screen.
Well, let me stop sharing screen and I'll do it again. But I generally do that every time. So okay. Let me try this again here. Okay. All right. We ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to do the original. Okay.
Das schädlichste
Can you hear
Lebensmittel,
that now?
Yes.
Okay. This helps so much. Okay. Here we
das
go.
dein Herz zerstört. Es gibt ein Lebensmittel, das ihr Herz massiv angreifen kann und vermutlich schlimmer ist als Zucker und Omega-6.
That's his natural channel. This is his language that he speaks really well,
German.
right? Now listen to the English one, and he's one of my students, and so for me, this literally sounds exactly like him. However, his vocabulary, and it doesn't take, it's very good cadence on it. But listen to his English.
The most detrimental food that wreaks havoc on your heart. There exists one particular food that can severely assault your heart.
Now
It has that German twang to it.
It has that German twang to it. And what we did is we chose that. And the reason why is because we wanted people to know that he's from Germany. And you might say, well, no, that's not the way that we want it. And I'm here to tell you, when he does Spanish, we'll do the Spanish one. This is crazy, but if you speak Spanish, you can kind of tell he's German Spanish. Listen to this.
el alimento más dañino que destruye tu corazón. Hay un alimento que puede atacar su corazón de manera masiva y probablemente es peor que el azúcar y los ácidos
It's a little bit faster because Germans in Spanish, they speak super fast. It's just like fast and it's a little bit more enunciated. And so like we're able to kind of break that down, Roberto, in so many different ways. And so for me, when it comes to technical words, that's one thing. So I know you talk about very specific things, and we're gonna talk about that. But the AI is actually looking at all the niches, and they translate it differently. They're trying to get it in the niche to understand the niche and the vocabulary of the niche, and then how it's translated in the niche. And then two, there are words that don't translate. And if you go into other translated service, they just translate it. They try to find the closest word, and that's where it's off. And so for me, here's my VidSummit presentation. Check this out. That I am obsessed to truly understand the viewer. Now, the biggest thing for me. Okay, so that's that. Now, when we come into it, let's do. You pick a language. What should we do?
You know what? Just for fun, let's get Japanese, Derral.
Do we want Japanese, Derral? Okay, here we go.
視聴者の理解に焦点を当てている。最大の変化は2012年 YouTube が再生数から AI 主導のアルゴリズムに移行したことだ。
Okay, now check this out. So this is the coolest thing ever, right? So already know YouTube is a universal word. In Portuguese, though, it's actually not a universal word. They actually pronounce it YouTube. And so they understand that to that point. And so it's really cool when you're really breaking this down, Roberto, when you're actually going through this of realizing that it's localizing it. So if you want to get this tool, you go to dittodubbing.com, but let's see Roberto in you have your regular Spanish. Now let me do the Mexican Spanish. Ready?
Este fondo es una pantalla verde. Hoy les enseñaré cómo lograr un efecto perfecto de pantalla verde en Adobe Premiere Pro. Para empezar, abre Adobe Premiere Pro y coloca tu material de pantalla verde en la línea de tiempo. Asegúrate de tener una iluminación uniforme y una pantalla.
Okay, so notice that in Spanish, I want to be very clear on this, the terminology, right? So it was saying Adobe Premiere Pro. It didn't translate that, but it translated green screen, right? You see that where it says green screen, this is green screen. If you speak Spanish, this is what it is, okay? Now let's do it in German here. Now check this out.
Dieser Hintergrund ist tatsächlich ein Greenscreen.
So do you know why it did green screen? Because in German, that's what they say.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, it's the green screen. And then it goes into it a lot deeper. Let's do Arabic, which you can see that it doesn't, but you can see here.
هذه الخلفية في الحقيقة شاشة خضراء واليوم سأعلمكم الطريقة يمكنكم عمل تأثير الشاشة الخضراء بكفاءة في Adobe Premiere Pro بسهولة ابدأوا.
So, I mean, that's how easy it really is when you really break it down. And the whole reason why I did this, the whole reason why we're going down this path is because I truly do believe that this is going to shrink the world. And I know you and I, we have this love and fascination for science fiction, but it's actually science fact. And so when I saw the universal translator, I was thinking there's going to be a day that humanity is going to figure out how we can communicate in our native tongue and people are going to understand it. And I think we're really, really close to that with Neuralink and a few other things. It's just getting pretty crazy out there.
That near real-time translator. I saw an interview with that near real-time.
Yeah. Well, it just happened. It was like, what, 4 weeks ago, that near real time is they were able to translate in 16 languages all at once. And so they just had a small buffer. It was 45 seconds and then it was real time after that. And realistically, your buffer in live stream, like right now, we're probably a minute delayed. Like most people don't see it, but we're about a minute delayed based on the buffering that happens. And that could automatically transfer where you can go on and communicate and it will be in real time. That's where things are going. I truly do believe
next 5 years. Next 5 years minimum.
Yep. Yeah, so you're able to, I mean, you've been around the block and you've probably seen a lot of tools. Like, why does this get you excited?
This gets me excited. One big reason is because of the speed. the speed, the experience of that was radical. I've never seen anything like it. And I've used a lot of tools, even for the transcription. It was the speed and accuracy. I've always only been able to have one or the other. I've always had to either have speed or accuracy, never both. And that was a big deal when it came to it. I've used other tools in the past for that, just on purely the transcription. Never had anything that was as fast or accurate. And I've used multiple tools, things from Amazon, things from Adobe, things from all kinds. I've used maybe, I want to say somewhere between 6 and 8 different transcription tools.
Yep.
And I've never seen anything that works as fast, as accurately, and could handle all my multiple uploads.
Yep.
Because I uploaded, as you know, about 38 videos of varying length
Yep.
at once. And it's basically done with all of them in, like, I did it this morning, and it was done with all of them well before we got on.
Which is crazy, because usually when you use the service, they have to go and clone your voice, and then they use the voice, and they go to the translation, and they go from there. So there's multiple stages of it. This literally bypasses that, because what happens on YouTube, you might have 40 people in your video. And you're able to literally identify, oh, this is Roberto Blake. Like it automatically picks you up and realizes, oh, this is Roberto Blake. It actually cloned it, and this is like Roberto Blake in this scenario or whatever. And it starts to build this own AI system that realizes, oh, you're in this place. Let's use this clone versus the other one. And so it gets really granular on it. But the crazy thing about it is when you really break it down, the technology is at a point where it's getting very interesting, and it's finally at a place where I feel like comfortable enough that YouTube is going to push it heavily, and they are doing it. You can see on the numbers that I'm showing on all the students that really taking off and getting a ton of stuff. Roberto, would you mind changing that? It's dittodubbing.com.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, dittodubbing.com is what
Sure.
it is.
I got it right the first time and wrong the second time.
Yeah, dittodubbing.com. And if they do that, they get that free training. If they do that, I can't guarantee that it's going there. So it's just like there we go, dittodubbing.com. And when you go there, you're able to see that very specifically on the YouTube roadmap. They're just trying to really start localizing this. And so for us, the tool was created for creators, and the focus is only for creators. Like, we're not trying to do Hollywood. We're not trying to do any other thing out there. We're trying to make it very easy for YouTube creators to go from there. Now, here's the thing that I do know, Roberto, and tell me, like, you probably preach this more than anyone else that I know in this space, which is, should you just rely all your revenue on YouTube, or should you diversify? Like,
of course you should diversify. Like,
right.
Of course. Like, I mean, it's the key. It's clutch. And right now I'm preaching using one of my AI partners, OpusClip, who's one of our favorite sponsors here at the channel. Shout out to all of our wonderful sponsors, linked currently in the description down below. But yeah, OpusClip. I'm repurposing across basically everything but TikTok. You know why? And now, if I wanted to, I also have the ability to repurpose on the multilingual side as well, which could be like interesting. But what a lot of people take for granted is another aspect, I think, of monetizing besides AdSense could be your affiliates and your sponsors.
Yeah. Like,
and this gives you more
affiliate, like having a global affiliate, that's really big. And then two, this language. But what I'm going to take it even further. How many courses have you made over the course of your career?
Oh, I've made mostly digital products, but now we have like 3 micro courses, and now we're going to do some big courses. So yeah, I could see it.
No. But now you can put it in all languages now. Like, you can literally do this. Now, the crazy thing about it is there's other technologies on the back end. I actually have another company that we're doing it. This is all built in. It's just like you hit it. You know what it is, because we talked about it before. But it's like it literally will serve out to localize not only that content, but you can do it across across the internet. You don't have to just be localized on YouTube. Now, YouTube is giving us the tools, and then everybody will follow suit. That's usually what happens. They either copy something and they bring it into the system. That's kind of what they did with Shorts, because they're like, oh, okay, this is something we need to capture. And then they take a big stance with, hey, no, this is our initiative. And then when they do it and they prove it, everybody else kind of copies it. So the difference is YouTube will make it really easy for you to get your stuff translated, but you won't have ownership of that. As soon as you do it through their system, you can't take it off of YouTube. Like that's breaking terms of service. And using
that's going to be in the YouTube terms of service for the AI dubbing, for the loud AI dubbing.
absolutely, absolutely. Anything that you're using YouTube's technology, I mean, they're taking 30% of a super chat. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Exactly.
For what? For a transaction?
A transaction that would
yeah. And you think that they're going to let you take that
processing?
They're going to let you download your translated thing. Now you could do it illegally, but you're breaking terms of service, and they will cancel you, right? Yeah. And so for me, it's just going through this the right way, and that's why we have this tool. This is why that this is going to be really positive for creators, is because that creators that think globally and really start honing in on it now are going to reap the rewards. Now, the thing that I used in the early example. The reason why MrBeast is the biggest in the world is he had a global perspective, and he started those channels before. He started the channels before, and YouTube had to build the tools because he was doing it. So
it makes sense that they had to push aggressively for that. I also think the timing around what they saw Netflix doing with Squid Game and the fact that YouTube has to compete with TV and Netflix and is competing with TV and Netflix and doing global connected televisions, that initiative. I think everyone's missing the fact that connected TVs is as big of an initiative for YouTube as YouTube Shorts was. And I think that that's going to be game changing. Next up, podcasting. That's going to be.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. So YouTube is the biggest podcast platform on the planet. There's not even a close second, and it's just massive how they do it. Now, that's where it's going to go there, but then you're going to see that on, it's going to be on a path for like Spotify and all these other things. Like I said, YouTube will prove the concept. People will kind of copy it. That's what tech does. So the reason why I'm passionate about this is because right now there are creators that can really expand their market if they add 2 languages. What 2 languages do you think is the best for you to add? If you don't say Spanish, I'm going to have a problem with you.
No, it's going to be. It's going to be. I'm going to give you a curve bird. I'm going to give you the 3. It's going to be Spanish.
Yeah, I knew you would. I knew you would just add Indian to it. But anyway, go ahead.
It's going to be Spanish, Indian, and Portuguese.
Yeah. So
Brazilian Portuguese specifically.
Yeah, when you take all the traffic, most of it's happening in India. It is. There's a lot that's going there. They have what was it, the 4th of like the world's population is there.
The world's population, largest population now surpassing China, expected to continue to be number 1 indefinitely.
Yeah, and what's crazy about this is then you take emerging markets. Like I look at who's going to be the superpowers in 10 years, and it's India and Brazil. And right now they're really bringing up on this. So you want to be able to start hedging this because there's not a lot of saturation there. There's not a lot of creators. They're just coming on and growing. Like the one that I gave you, the diamond play button. I mean, they got it in 12 months. The reason why is there's not a lot of competition. People are like, oh, okay, here we go. And the people that first come into it are going to reap the biggest rewards, especially when they understand what good content is. And I think that's where we have the advantage, because some people will do the same hurdle that they did in the US, where it's like, oh, I can just throw anything up and I'll get subscribers. Well, that only worked for so long, because when you get qualified people that actually put better content, then they're going to engage with it. And so that's the reason why so many people are subscribing into Brazil to MrBeast and watching it in MrBeast, is because they can hear it in their native tongue and they love it. They look forward to it, and it's extended his brand, where his brand deals now is going off 100 million video views in a couple days versus just 10 million views. And so that brings the ad rates way up for him, and it really goes from there. So I mean, it's just so cool when it comes to that. So for me, I just think it's really, really close. This one should be getting close to your Brazilian Portuguese, from processing. But I think we're getting really close for this opportunity. And I would just have everyone take the time to at least hear the training. So go down, like I go to dittodubbing.com. You can register for free. You can try out the tool for free. That's it. You can do it from there. And then, in 6 days, we're going to have some training that you're going to have access to, which is really, really good. And it's going to really go into a lot more granular stuff that I can't do here. Is we're going to get more granular on what is the best approach for you. Because what I always get is, well, what should I do? I don't have multi-language audio on my channel. What do I do? And I'm saying, don't wait, don't sleep on this. There's a way to reach out to YouTube, and they can add your channel. And they do it very slowly when they're in beta, and they're in beta right now. Okay, and they start extend the reach, and so they do it slowly, but they start bringing momentum. Well, you can get kind of up to the top of the list. There's ways to do that. And the second thing would be is when do you do it on your own channel? Now, I noticed that you are going to start a brand new channel. And not do the multi-language audio. And why was that your reasoning behind that?
So the thing is, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a double dip strategy, because one of the things I'm going to do is with that other Spanish channel, I want to actually, one, use it as a case study. But the other reason is because I want to actually change all the thumbnails. I want to localize the channel completely. I'm going for complete localization, partly as a case study, but also because I can expand really heavily into that market, and I'm not unknown to people already in Panama. And I just think it's a really good opportunity to consolidate a Spanish-speaking audience that has not had people, because also I know this, people care a lot when you cater specifically and exclusively to them, and they're not just a yes and, but when you go hyper-specific, hyper-local of like, I'm only taking care of you and nobody else, that matters to people. And when they see somebody, especially when they see any of Americans, when they see an American or a gringo do anything and really make the effort to go all in, it does matter, and it does have an impact. So I'm localizing. I keep all my Photoshop thumbnails, and I keep the PSD files for a reason. And it's just for an opportunity like this, because now I've already started this process of localizing all of my thumbnails. I'm localizing and all of my descriptions as well.
Did you hit this key? I don't know if you saw this, but it can already translate all your description right here. It's just like we've done it all. So you just come over here and you hit. You could download the individual files, but you see this right here.
Yep.
It's like translate the metadata, and you within 30 seconds, you're good to go.
Yeah, so see, I mean, it's a perfect tool. It is really made with creators in mind, because it keeps all of our workflow stuff completely in mind. So now I can have this. But what I'm also going to do, Derral, is on my main channel, I'm going to use this for some additional closed captioning for the multilingual, because YouTube has not given me the multi-language dubbing feature just yet. Yep. The thing is, I will expand to other languages on my main channel, and I'll plan that in a judicious way. But
well, if it was me, and this is what I just kind of like. There's certain channels I'd never cross over until YouTube forces you to combine.
Yep.
And I think YouTube eventually will force you to combine once all the irons are ironed out. And the reason why I know that, Roberto, is that's the pattern that they've always done.
Correct.
Is it doesn't matter what the feature is. They're like, oh, we're going to consolidate, right?
Well, they did official artist channels. I saw them do that with official artist channels for people's
music channels too.
Exactly.
Yep. They're going that route. So they'll be able to consolidate it. And then too, do you want a little hidden secret?
Go for it.
They consolidated all of MrBeast channels to the main channel. They already did it. like you can go see this. It's a channel. You go click on a channel, click on a video, see where it goes.
No, Derral, I actually need you to say that again, because like this is like an exclusive. Like this is exclusive. So say that again for everybody.
Let me just show you. It's just really easy. Let me just show you. It's easier to show you than anything else. Okay. So let's go. You got to go to the not the slides one. In fact, let me just get rid of the slides. There we go. The screen share. I'm gonna have to pick the other. I did it per tab.
The tab windows thing. Yeah.
Okay, so here's Mr. YouTube. So let's go to MrBeast Espanol. Okay, ready? So you have the channel. He has 25 million subscribers, right? You click on this, it goes to the MrBeast channel. Okay, let's go back. Let's do this one, right? So it has 13 million views a year ago. You click it.
Portátil. Como la atracción.
It goes here, but you're saying, okay, it's already here. But when you click it, it's not really that. So basically, it's an alias that goes all back to the main channel.
So it globalized all of that and everything.
It globalized all that one, and they're not gonna change it, because what they don't want to do is they have to have a footprint too. Like whenever you do it, there needs to be a footprint, and they're keeping that in the footprint. That's always
and all the data, and they need the viewer data. They need the viewer data, just like how Todd Beaupre from YouTube this week said, "Don't delete your old videos because it deletes the connection to the people who watch them."
Exactly. Well, that's really, really important, right? So, for me, I do believe this is the next gold rush, and if you have any library at all, you actually have a gold mine, right? And it's just like more this. And so I was going to emphasize a point of why I don't think you should change. And the reason why I think you should do it in Spanish is because, number one, you actually understand Spanish.
Yes.
You actually speak Spanish. And so it's like you can personalize it better than anything else. You can tell when it's right and when it's wrong, and you can build that community. And then two, if everyone that comes on, all they're seeing is Spanish comments instead of all the different comments, they still haven't figured that out yet because they got to wade through that. It's more community driven, right? And so, yes, we maybe want to go global on certain things or certain types of entertainment channels, but not your stuff. Your stuff is more community centric. It's like a niche community within a niche community, right? Like that's what it is. And so it's like, oh, here I'm connecting deeper on that. And then the way that you do the community tab, and this is another thing they don't have fixed. It's like, well, what if I only want to hit the people in Mexico or that speak Spanish on a community tab? Like I don't have all the features that you would on the main channel.
They have not figured out scaled localization for the features of YouTube yet. They really haven't. And the thing is, they have to give us, I believe that YouTube has to give us localized thumbnails for this to really work too. Because I just think it's also somewhat unfair.
Well, don't hold your breath too long.
I know. Trust me.
Because it's crazy. But I think the whole thing is this.
Netflix does localized thumbnails.
Well, Netflix is like running circles around. When it comes to globalization, they have it down. They do. They know it really well. And I would be very surprised. I'll just make a prediction. I'd be very surprised if they don't have some type of automated translation into the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight when it's the first live stream, because it's like, okay, it's the first.
It'll be delayed, and it will have, I believe it'll have real time, probably the Samsung appliance if they didn't build their own appliance, assuming they didn't build their own appliance, which they could off of all the data they have. Yeah. So I believe that 100%.
Yeah, it's crazy what happens. And so for me, this is where it's at. And it's like my passion and my love is I wanted to create something. So I have some amazing partners that are just programmers. They're really good. And what they're really good at is their craft, right? And what I'm good at is, hey, there's a market out here. And I just think the creator economy is going to be massive. And so for me, it's really engaging with that approach in mind. And so I wanted to kind of blend that where it was really easy for a creator to scale with minimal interaction. And I noticed there's a couple comments that come on. It was asked, hey, what do you do in the comment section? And we can talk about that. And this is a really important thing. But the reality is, YouTube's all built for this, and the roadmap is for this. And so if you're the first in, you're going to get the most views. And when you get the most views, you're going to have the most engagement. But what you're going to see easily is the new viewers turn into returning viewers because there's not a lot of competition when it comes to this type of stuff. And so for me, let me tell you how YouTube's built, just so you have a better understanding. Number one, it's an AI. It tries to predict what the viewer wants to watch and keep them on the platform longer. If they predict that they want to watch this in their native tongue, they're going to serve it in their native tongue first. You're going to actually see it surface before that. So you're going to have premier placement when it comes to the YouTube homepage and also in the suggestion thing on suggested videos, okay? The second thing is keeping on the platform longer. If they notice that, hey, these videos go hand in hand, here's a new channel taking off. You saw in the graph of my students of how they were able to get new viewership to returning viewership is really, really fast because of those two things, okay? And next, this is something I want you to know. YouTube already built in the commenting system. You can create moderators. You can reach out to your community. Anyone that speaks Spanish, there are people that are willing to reply as the creator or as the channel. And they can do that right now. They can literally take that right now and handle it off of the commenting system. And so we've already been doing that for years. And it's just more, hey, how do you extend yourself and how to get people closer into you? And what can you do to help them, to help you? And what can they do to help you? And ultimately, it's just creating the community and getting the community to deeper into it. And then, two, if you localize it the way we're talking about, you can even call them out in a community post. Oh, I'm so grateful for this person. That's like the biggest blush type thing ever. It's like, oh, I can't believe it. It's so great. Because moderators are born moderators. I'm here to tell you, they just are. It's just in their nature to do it. And so, anyway. But what was that last question? I didn't see that last question.
So
just
one
coming
person,
in?
Yeah.
So we can play this right here. This Portuguese is done now. You want to hear you in Portuguese?
Yeah,
So let's
yeah.
do the original.
That might be my other
This
channel.
background is actually a green screen. And today I'm going to teach you how
Okay, let's hear you in Portuguese now.
este fundo é, na verdade, chroma key verde. Hoje vou ensinar como fazer para criar efeito de chroma key perfeito no Adobe Premiere Pro. Vamos lá. Abra o Adobe Premiere Pro e adicione seu vídeo com...
Dude, your Portuguese is really good, by the way.
Right?
Yeah, it's almost like a Sao Paulo accent. It's so great. So great. But once again, it knows by the language if the word's going to switch out. So green screen, if we went to German, it'll say green screen because in Germany they say green screen. They don't translate that. Other AI systems, they just try to force translations. They say, okay, they literal in. They don't take context in. So like if you're speaking in medical terminology, it needs to pull in all the medical terminology and make sure how do they say that there. If you're talking about YouTube, they're going to say, okay, here's the YouTube context. And they take that, and it's very contextual when it goes from there. It's so crazy. So you can see here in German, we'll do this once again, but you can see right here, it's going to keep the words that they use naturally in the language.
Dieser Hintergrund ist tatsächlich ein Greenscreen. Heute zeige ich euch, wie ihr ganz einfach einen perfekten Greenscreen-Effekt in...
I mean, this is just crazy, man. Just
Really
to be honest
good.
with you. It's just crazy.
Wild. No, it's a brave new world, dude. It is literally a brave new world. Like you said, science fiction is now science fact. That is the world we now live in, and I love it. Literally, almost everything I saw in Back to the Future when we were kids, back in that, and back in my day, and
That's
everything.
right.
Star Trek, everything for Star Trek. It's almost all here. 3D printing is a step down from what we had in Star Trek with the matter replicator. We have the holodeck now. I saw the holodeck technology 15 years ago.
Crazy.
We're there. So
Yeah.
like,
And I think that what it does is it gives people the saying, oh, this is what it could be, and then they're really smart. Like, how can we make that happen? And it's really, really cool, right? And so for me, it's like language is a barrier, but it doesn't need to be. And I truly do believe it will be. We can communicate whether the AI is on us. I don't know how it's going to work, or it's in us, or whatever. It's going to do it. But right now, it's happening, and you want to catch the wave. Now, I'm here to tell you when I've been on YouTube for a very long time. October 2005. Okay, it started on Valentine's Day, but it didn't really start to go until June of 2005. So from June to October was the small window. I was like an early adopter, okay? And what I know is the moment that YouTube changed was two-part. Number one, when Google bought them for $1.65 billion, okay?
Yep. In November.
That was a really big thing. And then
November 2006.
YouTube was used as the number one video platform for Google. So they pushed that aside. And Google already had a way to pay blogs,
Google AdSense. Yep.
at the AdSense, and they're like, okay, this is really cool. And then what happened, this is the truth story here, the CEO of YouTube got drunk
Chad Hurley.
and got on stage, had a big hangover, and says, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to actually start sharing monetization with people that are uploading videos, just similar to what Google's done, because there's like, hey, what's that? And then the team's like, what? We never talked about this. They're like, figure it out. And then he walks off.
Yeah.
And that was a groundbreaking thing. And they brought a small set of creators in, some of my friends. And then in 2008, they literally blew up. And so it's like that is that moment. So there's this defining moment right now, just as important as a partner program. Now, this is one of those moments. Now, you said there was another moment that you thought was a key moment into YouTube. I would say that was the moment here, and now this is there. But what was the other moment for you?
So for me, I think it was because different golden eras, right? There was a golden era of just being straight up an early adopter and being one of those first OG YouTubers.
Yep.
In the era of, I would say, gold rush of 2006 through 2010, early adopter moment there. But there was another inflection point in 2012 because the partner program was still select only up until 2012. So in 2012, when the partner program opened up to everybody, floodgates came in. And this is
do you know why it opened up to everybody? Do you know the mechanics? I think I wrote the book on this, by the way.
You did write a book on this and everything. One story I know about this, and I talked to a former Google engineer about this. One funny story I know is that it almost broke the AdSense database because there was an influx of millions upon millions of new database entries literally overnight. So that was one story I know, but what's the story you know?
Well, no, I know this for a fact because I lived it, right? Okay, so in 2012 and prior, YouTube was a view-based algorithm. So the more views you got, the more visibility you got. That's basically, if you wanted to be hacked, it's like they weren't looking at how long you're watching the video or anything like that. It was like you get the views, and you're totally into that algorithm. In 2012, they did an experiment, and this experiment was very small. And it was like, what if we actually had AI predict what the viewer is going to see? Okay. And in May of 2012, that is when they said, oh my gosh, we got more views than projected. And it wasn't even more views. It was in an amount that everybody's jaw dropped. And they now said, oh, people cannot game to take the money, because before all it was clickbait. I mean, clickbait was invented back then, because if they click, they made money on it. If you just get the click, so just click, and it didn't even have to fulfill it.
Rickrolling was a whole thing. Yeah,
exactly. So as soon as they switched over, and that was late 2012, and then it went all across the whole platform in 2013. That's when the monetization actually went out to everyone. So it wasn't select. They didn't have to look at your content. It was like, oh, okay, you hit our minimum requirements, and you're good to go. And that was. And so I would agree with you too. I just would say the YouTube partner program, I was kind of lumping it all in one.
Oh yeah, sure.
Which you did it in two different blocks. But for me, I believe we're in that moment right now.
I agree.
We're in that moment where we're now, I have students that are bringing in $10,000, $20,000 a month by extra a month, by just making sure that it's dubbed in all those different languages.
I'll throw you another one. 2020, 2023 peak pandemic shorts creators.
Yeah, for sure.
I might actually do a grab.
But my whole thing though is that it's great for adoption and viewership, but I always look at the money side, man.
I agree with you.
Everything is like money. Just get like the money.
Same page, man. Same page. You know me. Hey, I'm doubling down. I'm the guy who is pivoting almost his whole newsletter strategy to focusing on the monetization part.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the whole thing in short, Roberto, is this is the biggest movement in YouTube in a very, very long time. This is your opportunity to take advantage. Technology is coming at a place where YouTube can't ignore it. It needs to literally be assimilated in. Okay, so they're coming in to assimilate, and they're going to have guidelines. What the guidelines are is they want to just amplify the content you've already done naturally. Okay, so if it's not all AI produced, they're not going to, they treat that differently now. But it's like you already have a library of content. Okay, you're already posting content. Why not go out to a wider audience, right? They're introducing a tool. If you have a senior partner manager, you have this tool. If you have a senior partner manager at YouTube, you have the multi-language audio, and you already have it. If you don't, you can ask for it. They will support you. And if you don't, you can go ask on support or go to the beta program, and then they'll put you on a list. And if you know somebody at YouTube that can kind of get you bumped up, i.e., someone at YouTube, Roberto, just hit them up, see what happens, and you can go from there. But I'm here to tell you is there's certain things that is going to be a game changer. This is one. Now, YouTube is dubbing through allowed for free. Or do we pay for Ditto dub? Yeah, like for me, I don't want to put all my eggs with YouTube. When you do something with YouTube, taking it off, breaking terms of service to use it on anything else, I want to be agnostic from YouTube. I want to just YouTube's a strategy of not my own thing. I get more freak out, frantic moments. I got demonetized. What do? I'm like, sorry, there's not much I can do. There's not much I can do. And I get that daily. People have been done. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. However, I want to leverage the tool for what it is. It's a tool to help me extend my reach, connect with my audience, and then bring them into the community.
Exactly. I agree 100. You know me, I'm the biggest guy, platform agnostic. That's why StreamYard's a sponsor. That's why we're multicasting right now on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn Live, Twitch, X.com, formerly Twitter, Kick. I believe that we're on Instagram right now. We may or may not be. So yeah, I'm doing it all for that reason. I'm repurposing with OpusClip across every single platform that's not TikTok. Across with OpusClip right now, even as we speak. And between those and then my business, my moneymaker, what do? Affiliate links. I use Kajabi to sell direct products. I'm going to be introducing larger paid courses now, expanding a membership community that we talked about even further with Awesome Creator Academy and the Pro Group, offering VIP stuff. I've reduced my YouTube AdSense and YouTube Partner Program income to always only be 8 to 12% of all of the revenue that I make. My goal is to reduce it to under 5% while doubling the amount of revenue that I make. That's my ultimate end game goal, because YouTube, like you said, I want to use it as a tool. I do not want to be a digital sharecropper for the rest of my life. And
exactly.
I see that happening to people.
So if you wouldn't mind putting the link up one more time, it's dittodubbing.com, dittodubbing.com. And there was Teresa Espinoza said, I tried Ditto dubbing a while ago when Derral announced it, and my family, all Spanish speaking, were blown away. Like, I'm telling you, I've sent audio files to people and they're like, I didn't know that he speak Korean, or I didn't know that his Chinese was so good. You know, it's just like he speaks like a native, and it's so great. And so for me, if you go right now to dittodubbing.com and just hit join, you can do that for free. You can try the tool out for free. You can do it great. And then next week, I'm going to do a very specific training, how to literally leverage this the right way, how to take your gold mine and really know what to do with it. And if you don't want to miss it, it's going to be really, really good training. We're going to get very, very granular. And there's things that I can go into in depth that I can't necessarily do here. And so the big thing is, this is a huge opportunity. If you go to dittodubbing.com, join for free, and you're good to go. Now, here's the thing. There are people right now using other tools that will go away, okay? They will go away. I've seen these tools happen, and it's like, you want processes and systems that you can control. Okay. And Roberto knows this more than anybody else. It's like, when you get a workflow, you want that workflow to stay the same. For us, you know, we never got any VC money. Okay. Just to let you know. And we're already in the black. And that is the biggest thing. And we're on a very, very aggressive growth trajectory. And the reason why that's important for us is because it's more about paid acquisition of people coming on and using the tool. And we know right now that people come on, they're actually using the tool. Because, like, okay, I just had a creator. This is so crazy, Roberto. He had 3,000 videos. He translated all 3,000 videos and is now literally just blown his channel up. Why? Because he's put all those 3,000 audio tracks in Spanish on a Minecraft channel. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, there's so much that you're able to do. And you can really break it up. And then two, one of my team members went on with the fastest growing Minecraft channel in the world. And they're like, hey, we saw this at Vid Summit. We want some action for it now. We're like, yeah, let's go right ahead. So the cool thing about it is, even if you have a big library and you're like, oh, I can only get so many subscribers, just reach out to us. We'll go ahead and hit into it, and we'll hit it really, really hard. Where we can get we don't care if there's 40,000 titles, we can actually do it in a very, very quick time that you're able to go from there. And for us, this is just the beginning. The reason why I'm really excited to do it and announce it here and with my friends is twofold. Number one, we're getting case studies right now for Vid Summit. Vid Summit's in September. Yep. We're getting case studies. And then second thing is, I'm rewriting my book that has been translated into 16 languages. And we get version 2 that's coming out, and it's going to be with AI and shorts. We're going to add, I have shorts in here, but I'm going to get a little bit more granular with AI and shorts on that.
The audio dubbing for your book in multilingual?
Unfortunately, this book right now I'm with the publisher, and so the publisher has the rights to farm it out. I'm getting the audio rights for English. I'm going to try to carve out, Spanish and Hindi and Portuguese. And yes, I will literally use this.
By the way, everyone, this has also been some of the hold up on my audiobook is I want to go multilingual with my audio launch. So
Yeah. Well, we can hook you up on that if you need to. So, but the key is I'm doing case studies for the book, case studies for Vid Summit. You can be that next case study. I'm going to be inviting amazing case studies on stage to be able to cover this, because I do believe this is easy money to make if you have a library. And then two, there's a couple people who are like, I don't have a lot of videos. I only have like 30 videos. Is this going to be good for me? If you make amazing content, okay, and you can say this is really good, I know there's an audience for it. There might be an audience out there, and you're not as sensitive to wait until you have this really big US audience. You can go from there. We've already started brand new channels in English, and then we already did the test where we added those videos to it, and we're now a multilingual channel, and it brought up both viewership because we had that watch time that was just like kicking off the roof. So.
no, that's brilliant. And that makes perfect sense, Derral. And it's like you said, this is like a fast track. As far as I can tell, this is a fast track to monetization. And guys, I know this because also I've done long form content. I got my podcast channel monetized with a couple of episodes of doing 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. I did it in like under a month. I did in like 18 days or something like that on the podcast when I was trying to get that up and running. When you do something like this, especially if you have a really good library of content, but even if you're also getting that library up and going, I could see the value of this for a new channel launch. And like Derral, this also ties to my 100 videos in a year strategy for people of if you make 100 videos in a year, that's that inventory after evergreen videos. Cause I always preach, make 100 evergreen videos in a year. If you can, 100, 150 between 2 uploads to 3 uploads a week, that cadence, if you have that, and then you're able to qualify those videos, and maybe you don't do it on your first year, but maybe if you did on your second year, even because now you know which videos work, and now your next 100 videos are going to be bangers. Yeah, this is perfect for you. And you can take the best performing content and only take the best performing content, translate to another language or content you think should have done better. Maybe it just was not able to compete in the English American centric market, and it might compete and have a second life in another country for a different audience. So it's worth it.
So let me give you the last case study that I'm probably the most proud of, and this one's you know me, I'm a sentimental guy. There's a 75-year-old that reached out to me and says, Derral, I can't go back to work. I'm making less than $1,000 a month on retirement, and I can't even live off of that. And I just feel like I'm gonna sell everything and just buy an RV, and I want to use YouTube to make money. Okay. He became one of my students. He actually spent a lot of money to become one of my students. And you think, oh, Derral, why wouldn't you give it to him for free? Like, I believe that if it means that much to you, you're going to do that even more. And so he sold some stuff to actually be a part of it. The crazy thing about it was in the course of a year, that first year of being on YouTube, okay, just making RV content as a 75-year-old, okay, keep in mind, okay, guess how much money he made, Roberto? He was making less than $1,000 a month on retirement.
3,000.
Okay, was it 3,000 a month? He made $200,000 that year. Okay. What's crazy? This last year he made $1 million. Okay. The cool thing is he immediately did the tool. Okay. His videos are literally about 2 hours long. They're just really, really cool stuff. And it just really hits for the boomers. It's like geared for the boomers.
That's so interesting. That makes sense though.
He treats it for boomers. He talks to boomers, and he goes to the retirement areas of boomers. And the crazy thing about it is he just did Spanish and his channel doubled.
Man, that boomer money though. Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at a graph right now, and it was like it was just sent to me this morning. I'm like, hey, give me some case studies, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's actually pretty crazy. Like what he's getting, from it. It's literally insane when you break it down. Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's like here's the opportunity. And so for me, I love this. I love that. People can have their lives changed by creating content and using YouTube. I love YouTube. I love it to death, but I won't put everything in the hands of YouTube because they have the ability to take it away. And so I want to be able to really extend my reach, and do it in a way where I have the control. And this is a way to do this when it comes to internationally. And then two, keep in mind, not all these other platforms are up, but you might want to use this on other platforms. We just hit a big milestone in Brazil. We went down there, did a premiere for the TV shows. That gold play button I was telling you right there.
The Chosen,
The Chosen. We did season 4. We launched it in theaters, and we were. If you take all the theaters in Brazil, every third theater was playing our TV show. And it was the first 2 episodes, and it was the most syndicated out there on the most screens. It was like even competing with Marvel in that regard, and it became the #1 show in it. Now, the whole thing about it is we wanted a localized approach, and so we actually do our social media localized from there. Well, we had 1 million followers on Instagram. How did we do that? We basically catered the content that they actually engaged with, and we're using this tool, this tool to engage on a level. But who's curating that? Who thinks it's good? It's the local team there. Says, "Oh, this worked really well," and then 2, they supplement it as well, or they commentary on it. And so there's so many different ways to do it. So if you go to dittodubbing.com, join for free, try it out for free, and then you'll have that training that's coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a question here. Do you mind sharing what the RV channel was?
Yeah, I will on the other training there because they'll be a part of the training.
Okay.
I have to just ask him for permission for it.
Gotcha.
I'm just really guarded with my stuff like that.
No, that's fair.
I always like to ask for permission. I just found out today, and I would have put it on the stream, but I haven't talked to him. So.
Okay, yeah, no. For sharing people's numbers, like there's case studies and other things you can share, but like things like the back end money, I absolutely always have to get permission from that, make sure people are comfortable. I actually had to delay a podcast episode I was launching with a friend of ours who got to 1 million subscribers, took my advice because there was something he said in the while we were recording, and it revealed a very significant 6-figure number ROI that came out of our coaching call on one deal. But his wife didn't like that he revealed that number.
Right.
That they did a 6-figure month, and what the specific number was, it was high. So, I had to go back and re-edit the podcast. And so, yeah, that's a whole thing.
Well, Roberto, you use the tool. It's simple to use. And then 2, it's in the mind of the creator. We're actually in the final stages of working with YouTube specifically at the API. So it's all done. Just had to touch the button
to the channel directly.
Yeah. And even with the meta information going back and forth like that. But right now, it's just within a couple hours you can get hundreds of videos done, and then batch do it. Batch go through the content, and then you're able to upload it. But I do need to go though.
I got 30 this morning, and our the goal is to get 100. The goal is to curate 100 of them, and so we can work on that case study. But Derral, thank you so much for taking the time with me today. Hope you're recovering from all the travel because I know how that is and everything. So just thank you for bringing everything you do to the community and everything. I cannot wait to see you at Vid Summit, my friend. And everybody remember to go to dittodubbing.com. Derral's got to run, but you still got me. I'm going to hang around and answer some of your questions. Thanks so much, Derral.
Thank you. Bye now.
All right, everybody. So that was really, really dope. And I know a lot of you have questions. We have over 500 of you here from the various platforms. Most of you are from YouTube. Before I get into all of the questions that everyone has, I want to honor the super chats real quick that we couldn't cover during the stream while we were making sure we got the most out of Derral. He said he was going to go for an hour. He gave us an hour and a half, y'all. So big shout out and props to Derral for that. So Crater says, $5 super chat. I had a video do above my channel's AVD, average view duration, and click-through rate average, CTR, but the impression flatlined after 15K. It's been a week. Will YouTube give it a chance again? I would check where your traffic sources are and where the impressions came from each traffic source over time. You'll want to do that in your advanced YouTube analytics. I've done several analytics workshops and trainings here on the channel. So you should be able to find that in advanced analytics if you go into it. And if you sort through the data on that individual video, but that is weird that it is doing that. But I do believe it's possible YouTube can give it another chance. I would look at that. I've seen videos blow up after 6 months. So, glad that that's overperforming for you though, or out the gate. Dre, the man, $9 super chat. Thank you so much. Says, thank you for this information. You're very welcome. Abroad Ability, $9 super chat. This tool is a game changer. And I've been toying around with the idea of adding Spanish to my channel since I've focused on Panama. My mind is exploding right now. Thanks, Roberto and Derral. You're very welcome. Appreciate you guys. So yeah, and that was dittodubbing.com for anybody asking. And if you're fresh, I have put it in the description. I don't think Ditto Dubbing has an affiliate program yet, but you know that once it does, you know your boy will be on it. So yes, absolutely. Cynthia L asks, are there any developments for sign language? Not from I've seen from this tool, but I've been seeing something else with AI where I've seen something else, not this. And I'll talk to Derral about this because usually, a lot of conferences we've been speaking at, we've actually, at least for the larger stages at most of these conferences, there have been people who are doing American Sign Language. And so I think at some point there is going to be not only ASL, American Sign Language, in AI tools, whether it's Ditto Dubbing or something else, but I think there will also be individual localized sign language for other languages as well. Through AI tools, and that'll be fascinating. I think that at some point there may be some YouTube integration or Google feature, but we might be anywhere from 3 to 8 years out from that with what I've been seeing with AI. I can talk to Matt Wolf about it because he is my favorite go-to AI expert and a great guy. I can't wait to grab dinner with him again at Vid Summit this year. So yeah. Colin, we saw the reverse of this with the person who speaks in a German channel and then having that German go to English. And then we had it with that German twang. So that was really cool. So we did see that actually, which is really dope. And that's one of the other things I like about this tool. This tool is more advanced. I've used like 8 different tools. I used something from Amazon. I believe it was like called Poly or something. And that wasn't like up to par with this. I've used multiple other tools. I've tried so many different things. This one, and it's not just because me and Derral are friends, it's because like you saw it yourself. It's tremendous. And what my issue was speed and accuracy. Even Adobe isn't here yet. So that's really interesting, even though their stock price is down, which is really annoying for me as an investor. But you know me, big Adobe fan. Labor Law with Ali says, does this benefit people who make country-based content? My content is South African labor law, so does it really need a global community, or is this more for global niches? It can be, because if you're talking about labor law there, you're also talking about ethics, and you're also talking about workers. So, and the thing is, you might be country-based right now, but you might decide to cover stories in the future, and I think you should. If I was giving you a channel strategy, Ali, I would actually tell you that even though you might be focused on what's going on in South Africa and South African labor law, and that might be a specialty of yours, I think you should take a page out of our book from friends like Legal Eagle, for example, who covers law. And I think you should start covering labor law in a more broad manner and talk about labor law things that might be happening in the EU, for example, in various European countries, because then that's also a more global centric audience as well. And so I think that that's worth exploring for you for sure, and that people would have an interest, and then you could have broader conversations about labor, ethics, and legal and ethical practices. And I think that that would be a channel strategy, and then that also lends itself to a broader expansion with globalized audio dubbing. So from a channel strategy perspective, I would also expand your scope of your channel because I think that you have more depth that you can add if you cover other stories and just give, but that does make you more of an opinion and a pundit based thing than just specializing in what's on the ground there. But I actually think that that's good for you. And what's on the ground there would be your credibility. So you use your local in-country South Africa stuff as your credibility and what gives you authority and shows your intelligence to speak to this. But then you can apply your intelligence and your expertise more broadly in places that you don't live, but just make those opinion-based, but an informed opinion from an intelligent person who's done the work. And so that's a channel strategy for you from that. So it goes a little bit beyond just the scope of the language dubbing. So Ray asked, should we just create a playlist and name it in Espanol? And I'm making a whole nother channel, but you know why? It's that one, eventually, if I grow that Spanish only audience, they will grow and accelerate faster because I'll probably be able to compete more heavily in the market from production, video, audio quality, lighting quality, information, expertise, credibility, all these things. So I'll be able to do that. Then when YouTube folds and consolidates it, it'll jump my subscriber aggregate numbers and move me up to a gold play button faster too. So I'll probably be able to grow the Spanish only channel to a silver play button when by making these videos. I'll probably be able to get a silver play button within 1 to 2 years of doing Spanish only content. In 1 to 2 years, I can get a silver play button. Hell, for all I know, I could get a gold play button just in Spanish for all I know, because of the fact that there's not a Spanish only dedicated, localized YouTube growth and strategy and help channel. So if I make enough content and then I farm that content over, and I also use my existing library of about 150 YouTube centric help videos, and then if I combine that with video editing tutorial videos as well, given the number of Adobe users that are in Spanish countries, especially on the Photoshop and Premiere Pro stuff, and maybe even some of the audio stuff with Adobe Audition, because of podcast growing over there, yeah, I could go to the moon, and I could probably get definitely a silver I could probably get a silver play button with 300 to 400 videos in a 2 to 3 year period in Spanish only, which definitely folds over into the main channel to a gold play button for sure, I would imagine. But it's possible that on its own, that eventually I could just get a gold play button for the Espanol channel, the Roberto and Espanol channel. Same thing for Brazilian Portuguese. Hindi I might do, but the main reason for me to do Hindi at this point is because there are people literally stealing my content and taking my entire script from English and then doing that same content in Hindi and growing audiences in India, just using my information, who never actually grew YouTube channels or did content. So people are like farming my content and growing off of it in India right now. So if I do my own localized to Hindi content, then biases aside on possibly clicking on my face, biases aside, I could probably win there. Or I could win even without the thumb, because I could always redo the thumbnails in such a way to not even utilize my face, and then maybe I win that way too. So taking the Disney strategy. So yeah, taking the Disney strategy of taking myself out of the poster, right? So yeah. Thank you, Naj. Naj says all of these free classes are top tier, not one missed. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Also, I hope a lot of you have actually seen that we have a really good schedule coming up on the channel for live streams. There's still a couple of slots I have to fill in on my content calendar for live streams. You may have noticed that we're switching to a more live stream centric model on the channel, and that's actually going to help me be consistent for you guys, but it's also going to help me be more consistent for you guys. It's going to definitely help me with my content obligations to sponsors, but it also is going to mean that we're going deeper than most people have the capacity for, because I'm moving to a 3 live streams a week schedule. So you saw that we just did a stream today with Derral. We've got another one on Monday. And so basically we're going to go monetization Mondays, workshop Wednesdays, and then Q&A Fridays. And then on the weekends, I'm trying to take more time for myself on the weekends. I'm also doing a little bit more local travel here in the South. So we'll see how that goes. But basically we're doing monetization Mondays, workshop Wednesdays, Q&A Fridays, and Q&A Fridays basically are growth analytics, how to grow your channel, all those things. And so we're doing creator Q&A sessions to help you guys with audience development and growth. And we'll dive into data and analytics and things that are specific to help you. We're going to try at least maybe 1 to 2 times out of the month to bring back channel reviews. Those are just exhausting sometimes, but I'm going to try to do them. But the thing is, we want to do practical workshops on Wednesdays. And so I still have a couple to schedule. I'm going to NAB show. So I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to also represent OpusClip at NAB. I'm going to be also doing interviews at NAB. So I'm going to be in Vegas from the 13th to the 17th. If you're in Vegas or you're going to be at NAB, come by and say hi, because I'm going to be doing some stuff out there. And I think it's going to be really interesting. So yeah, you can see that we've got a really great schedule lined up for you. For this, when I'm back from NAB though, after the 17th, you can see we have lined up for you. What do we have in April? So we've got April's lineup here, and there's still some slots I have to fill in. But before I leave, we're doing, basically some stuff around growth and finding your audience. And then when I come back, we're definitely doing that. If I can absolutely manage to do a live stream while I'm in Vegas on the 17th or something, I will, because I believe the 17th is a Wednesday. If we can do a workshop on Wednesday, I will try. If not, of course, I'll just get you guys when I get back. Maybe we'll even do it on the weekend. Then we're back to Monday again, Monetization Monday, workshop Wednesday, and then a Q&A Friday, and then we'll round out that month being really harsh with it. So we've got all of April, aside from a couple of like 1 or 2 workshops I need to fill out. We've got all of April scheduled on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday live streaming schedule. So hopefully this didn't hurt the notifications and spam you guys with notifications, but we got a really solid lineup. I've scheduled all of the live streams for all of April. We've got some live streams even for the end of this month coming up right here. So you can see that we got something for the 25th. We're going to focus on brand deals and UGC content. So that's going to be this Monday. So definitely make sure you have notifications on for that. Wednesday, we're going to do a workshop and sell you how to sell digital products. And I use Kajabi for that, one of our sponsors. And then we're going to do a Q&A on next Friday. So, we're going aggressive, be aggressive. We're going hard. So I'm really excited about this. I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's been a while with the live streams, but you can see that it's good things come to those who wait. If you've been waiting for this, then, boom, I've got you. So really excited about that. Let's get to more of your questions, and then let's see what else we can cover today while we have you. Let's see. It depends. So the thing is, I can't tell all of you whether or not making a new channel is the right thing for you. For some of you, making a new channel will be the right thing. But for a lot of you, if you don't care and you're not a Photoshop person, you're not going to go through the trouble of changing all the text in your thumbnails to another language like me. And that may not be for you, especially for a lot of you, if you lean heavily more on YouTube monetization, if you're not selling products, if you're not trying to build up the credibility on that, if you're not doing global affiliate programs like the Amazon influencer program or other affiliate programs, if you don't have Genius Link set up to do the global affiliate programs for your different affiliate websites, if your affiliate programs aren't in certain markets, then the thing is, another channel may not be financially viable for you to do and to make the effort in just to grow a new audience. For some of you, that should be consolidation. But if your business model is diversified, like I preach, where you have multiple streams of income, multiple links in every single one of your descriptions, so on and so forth, then, and you can apply those and scale to a completely new audience. If you have a book like I do, and you're going to have that book in multiple languages. So the thing is your business model global? You have to ask yourself that too. Do you have a globalized business model? In an education-based YouTube channel, you might have a globalized business model. If you're an entertainer, however, if you're an entertainer, entertainers might be more the one channel strategy, like a MrBeast, depending. Now, if you're doing spectacle content, it might be worth it to get another. If you're a big YouTuber with a team and a staff, though, and you're doing entertainment, you can do multiple channels, and then eventually they get consolidated like MrBeast YouTube channel. So that would be kind of the direction to go if you're an entertainment-based channel. But that entertainment would also have to be the type of entertainment that is broadly appealing. So the thing is, you have to figure out whether you're Netflix or not. If your stuff is broadly appealing, then the thing is, being able to go either way will work for you, just depending on what your goal is. If I were already a big creator and I already had like 1 million sub channel, I might go global, and I might go global in a specific way. I might make 3 or 5 channels for specific markets because I have a full-time, if I was a big YouTuber with 1 million subscribers, full-time team, right? What I would probably do is there's probably like 5 big markets that I would make localized content to in 5 big markets. Those markets would probably be India. So I'd go to Hindi translation for India, for YouTube for India, right? And then I'd probably go Brazilian Portuguese, Mexican Spanish, specifically, and then I would consider doing Mandarin and Cantonese, and those probably be the 5 that I specifically would do if I was like 1 million, 2 million, 5 million entertainment YouTuber that knew that my content can reach a global audience. So that would be more like somebody who, for example, does comedy and skits, or does pranks, or does game show style content, right? So I would do it in that instance and for those 5 markets. However, I would then still on my main channel use as an entertainer. This is the play I'd make if I was a big YouTuber with a staff as an entertainer. Then I'll tell you what to do as a smaller channel in a minute. I'm just trying to give you perspective about the resources involved. So the reason I would do that is I can now grow big in those markets, and I might be able to duplicate what my channel's success already is in those markets. So that means I'll get silver or gold play buttons in those markets and have those audiences. So the thing is, I either win there individually, and then when those things blow up, I could fold those when YouTube consolidates, and then it pushes my already successful YouTube channel to being a diamond play button channel when those consolidate, on top of using the other languages besides those 5, using like another 20 languages on the main channel without localized thumbnails and extras. So without the localized thumbnails, without the localized metadata. So I go into those 5 markets, because those 5 markets, I can get another gold play button out of them, then take those and then get another 5-10 million subscribers folded in and become a 10 million subscribed channel. That'd be the strategy for an entertainment YouTuber that has broad appeal content, okay? And then on their main channel, they'd still use multi-language, but I would still use Ditto dubbing instead of YouTube's ALoud. And the reason that I would spend the expense to do it is control. So I can also use this to multi-purpose outside of YouTube and not let YouTube and Google have the control and not let them be my masters. Don't be a digital sharecropper, so that I can also expand my reach in the global marketplace of other online platforms as a content creator and being platform agnostic. I might do a video about this and about globalization. I'll try to see if I can do a 20-minute video about this for the YouTube channel. It will not have a lot of editing in it, just fair warning. It will be a brain dump because of what this is. So it will be based on that, and that would be my strategy. And now you know why. The model that I would probably use as that entertainment YouTube channel is things like the Amazon affiliate marketplace. But also, if I was that type of creator, I'd probably have what's called a DTC brand, a direct-to-consumer brand for a product line, which means it's going to be something like Chamberlain Coffee or MrBeast Feastables brand with the chocolates and the candy bars and the gummies and so on and so forth, or Prime, like Logan Paul and KSI have Prime. So if I have a direct-to-consumer product, and then I'm using Shopify, which you can tie to your YouTube channels with the YouTube shopping feature for products and merch, YouTube shopping products. You put that directly under YouTube channels and you connect that, right? Shopify is global. And so if you have a direct-to-consumer global brand for a consumable product, and then you're scaled as an entertainment channel, that's the business model. Because with Shopify, you can ship to everywhere globally. So the thing is, this works for merch, but it also works for consumables like things like chocolate, tea, gummies, coffee brand, that sort of thing. So for physical product distribution, absolutely, that makes a ton of sense for that physical product distribution. Now, if you do digital products, fourth wall is there with Teespring and Spreadshop and Shopify and all that. Fourth wall, you could be doing digital products, and then that scales to a global marketplace and can be localized depending on your digital product and how you set up your digital product. So then that can scale, and then there's no margin against the digital products. So boom, pure profit center with that strategy of going global. So the thing is, you have to consider how you're going to utilize global and what's your business model for global. The other thing that's global is the Amazon influencer program is global. The Amazon influencer program is global. So the thing is, if you use those links and you use something like Genius Link as well to do the global tracking and referral to that, so that it's all automated on the back end, then you can benefit from that, and you have more of your Amazon affiliate link and more of your Amazon affiliate link cookie spreading. And so that benefits you. If you're a thought leader, this works. If you're a thought leader, a podcaster, for doing this, because specifically you would get more sales of your audiobook. And if your audiobook is multilingual and you've dubbed your audiobook like I'm planning to in multiple languages, then now you get to have this go, and then it'll pair to the appropriate audiobook for the different language, and so on and so forth. So the thing is, that would be to your benefit as well. And then you can sell to that entire market specifically, and then you can grow your authority, you can grow your sales, and you have all that. And it's for the group of people that's meant for. So that's where you have to look at. You have to look at, what are the benefits of globalization? What are the benefits of consolidation? What's my distribution strategy? What's the back end tied to this for that benefit of scale in a globalized marketplace, and how do I benefit? So the thing is, this is why I'm also encouraging you guys and teaching you guys, especially with the Monetization Mondays and the Workshop Wednesdays. I'm teaching you about, one, how to build digital products, how to build and design merchandise, because then you now have more people that you can sell to. So that's going to definitely profit you. If you build online courses, then having something like Kajabi, which does automatically, when they're in a different language, it detects it and that localizes for their language. That's going to get you your money. That's going to get you your sales. If you're doing digital online affiliate programs and they're global affiliate programs, this is going to benefit you. And then having the access to that global reach means more cookies, more people buying, more monthly recurring revenue. If it's a SaaS product, more distribution if it's Amazon, because Amazon's global. If you're direct to consumer, or if you're an online business beyond a YouTuber and you have a direct to consumer brand, Shopify. And then so this is where it qualifies and what the workflow is. But also remember, YouTube lets you have multiple YouTube stores with YouTube Shop, which means that you could have your merch with the merch company you want, because maybe you don't want to pay upfront fees for your merch with Shopify. So maybe you're using Fourth Wall or Spreadshop, but maybe you have a direct to consumer brand. And so you also want Shopify. You can have Shopify and have multiple other things for your YouTube merch shelf. And so that means your direct to consumer brand can be there to sell your physical products, your tea, your coffee, your candies, whatever it is, your handcrafts, whatever it is. And then you can have your print on demand side. And then because you don't want any upfront fees and you only want profit on that, well, then that's where you go with Teespring, Spreadshop, or Fourth Wall. I would go either with Spreadshop or Fourth Wall. Neither of them are sponsoring me right now. And then, and those are global shipping. Those are global shipping. So that's how you would plan for the merch shelf side. And merch shelf and direct products, physical and digital products, that's a particular monetization strategy. And we'll be talking about those. And we've talked about them on the channel before. So then you have that. And then the other thing you have that I would take advantage of is the affiliate side. Like I talked about, Amazon influencer program is one of the best global marketplaces there is. It's the biggest one. So if you're not doing that, you probably should, especially if you're going to get a global audience, because that's the thing that's like easy and it prints money. So then that one is wildly practical. Now with Amazon KDP, if you're in the publishing game like I am, that's where AI is going to shine. You're going to want to start doing individual different translations. It could be very cheap if you're doing the Kindle side for your ebook, that one could be easy. And so then easy peasy on that. And then on the audio side, when you're doing an audiobook, that's where Ditto dubbing is going to come in. And that's going to be worth it for you. And then the margins on the audiobooks are really good. So from a strategy standpoint, this is what I'm looking at. Now, what do you do if you're a smaller YouTuber, don't have a full-time team, less resources? Well, that's where AI really, really pays off. So what would I do if I was a small YouTuber? Well, I'll go with an education channel first, and then I'll go with the entertainment side. One of the strategies so that you don't have to worry about your thumbnails is start getting really good at making thumbnails that don't even use text in the first place, right? You may have noticed that I've been moving away from text in my thumbnails if I can. That's also part of moving to a strategy that lets me be in every language. Is if my thumbnails can tell a story and illustrate the point and use symbols and icons and posing and props more, then I don't have to remake every thumbnail and localize every thumbnail to every language now, because now every thumbnail already works for every language because there's no words to read. If there's no words to read, my thumbnails are effective in every single language. Now, the compromise on that is, well, can I get them to perform in America where my main audience is? So I have to get good enough to make them perform in America and still win on the international side while using no text to help me, while using no text thumbnails to help me. So that is a design and photography challenge that you might have. And you can do that any size as a creator, and that works whether you're entertainment or education. Now, education channels tend to lean heavily on text, but if you move away from that and you just make better designs and better branding and it has no text, then you now can scale to multiple languages regardless of whether you do it on one channel or on a separate channel. Now it works either way. And so that would be one of the things you have to do. And that's why we have a thumbnail workshop for you on April 3rd. We're going to be doing advanced thumbnail design. And so that one's on April 3rd. You'll want to lock that in, be on notifications. So go over to the live tab on YouTube and then look at the schedule on the live tab and make sure you're notified for these live streams and these workshops, because they're going to help you. They're going to prepare you for the future. And I think it's going to do it in a way that you're not going to get anywhere else, just with the sheer volume and consistency of what we're doing. So that thumbnail strategy, thinking like that, is a big key component of all this. The other thing you might have to consider is how you're approaching graphics in your videos. Now, I may not go as far as to localize, because of not having editors and all this stuff, to change out in Adobe Premiere Pro all of our animated text to being another language. But also, unlike Americans, outside of America, other people do learn to read English to a degree. So I might not have to anyway. So that is helpful, and that won't bother people as much. So, but it's something to think about, whether you're going to do animated text anymore or captions that pop up on the screen, because of how that's not going to be as comfortable for localization in other languages and going global. So then if with that situation, being the smaller YouTuber, it depends on how small I am, whether or not I want to make separate channels. Now, if you have the audio dubbing feature, and just remember, YouTube can give you the audio dubbing feature to upload multiple audio tracks without you having to use Google and YouTube service for the audio tracks called Aloud. You can use whatever service you want. Me and Derral are recommending his company, Ditto Dubbing. And the difference and reason is, in the terms of service, if you use Google's Aloud, the translations that you do and that dubbing you do is tied to Google and YouTube, and they don't want you repurposing it to other places. That will break terms of service. If you're like me, you want to be platform agnostic. You want to monetize on every platform that will pay you. You want to be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, X.com, formerly Twitter. You want to be anywhere that'll pay you. Then you're going to want to use a third-party service like Ditto Dubbing instead of Google Aloud, because you're going to want to be monetized everywhere, syndicate everywhere, get paid by everybody. So now we're not only syndicating to a global audience, we're going to also syndicate across multiple platforms. And the reason we're going to be able to do that is because if you use StreamYard, you can do it with the live streaming. But if you're going to repurpose dubbed things or whatever, like, you could also look at how you're going to do that with OpusClip and their AI tool. So I'm big on the repurposing and the redistribution thing. I'm also looking at, well, what platforms does it make sense to go and localize in another language? Because until the other platforms do the whole consolidation thing, for my business especially, I might do some things where I might make another language profile for, most likely, to be honest with y'all, from a business standpoint for me, I might make another Facebook page that's in Espanol specifically. I might make an Espanol Facebook page specifically. Because I think there'll be an advantage for me in doing that. I might do an Espanol Instagram, but I might use a different strategy for it than the one I use on my personal Instagram right now. And that one will be all business. It'll be all monetization driven by, or how's this let me monetize? How's this let me sell my book? How's this let me sell digital products? How's it let me sell courses? How's it let me do affiliate links? So I would monetize in that way. So I'd make a scaled Instagram page in a specific language for the purposes of monetizing an audience in another language that's localized. So that would be a reason. And I can do that off of my YouTube content if I can also just dub it. And the thing is, if Google and Aloud want to trap you in the walled garden of Google and YouTube, then that's where I'm going to use like Ditto dubbing instead. Because this is the price of free is you're trapped a lot of times. The price of free is you're the product. So I'll just pay for things. I'll figure it out. So if you're a smaller channel, when do you decide to do this? Well, if I'm a smaller channel, I want growth. So if I'm a small channel, I stick to my main channel and I do multiple languages if I can using these features. And that's what I would probably do to grow the main channel faster, because that's what most of you want. Because most of you, you're not running businesses. Most of you, you're not diversifying your monetization enough. I'm going in that direction of maximizing revenue. I'm the revenue guy. So my big bread and butter is monetize, make money across multiple platforms, not just make money on YouTube, monetize every platform they let you, and then monetize through means you control, have an on-platform monetization, but have off-platform monetization. Monetize on-platform with creator programs and ad revenue, donations and fan funding. So that's donations, fan funding, memberships, all those things, but then have off-platform revenue, which is affiliate links, sell your own products, physical and digital, sell your own services if you offer services, and then also have an off-platform membership website. That can be your own website like I own with Kajabi, or you could do Patreon. I like full control, so that's why I'm on Kajabi, 100% control, customization. I want control. So it depends on what you care about as a creator. If you're a small creator, you care about reach more than you care about revenue if you're a small creator most of the time. So for reach purposes, you're going to go to a one-channel multi-language strategy as a small creator. But as you grow, consider branching. As you can grow and as you can afford it, consider branching into natural fits for your channel. And I would say that the Spanish speaking market for most of you is probably the first play, but some of you have ties to another culture. So if you have ties to another culture, branch into that other culture and swing to that branch and then double down and grow there and duplicate your channel success. And for some of you, that's going to be what gets you another silver play button or gets you that first silver play button. Because if you're not winning in America, you might win in another country that you have less competition in, and no one has your quality, your expertise. You can win on all verticals there. You might go faster in another country. So that's another consideration. You want that silver play button? Maybe you grow faster in another country where people are not going to come as hard as you do. So you can win on all verticals. So that's a long-winded version of answering Triss's question, but it's like, it is the question. It is the big question. And a lot of you had that same question across, so now I don't have to repeat myself about that question of because it is contextual. There's no one size fits all for it. And I told you how to figure it out. There's no size fits all. It depends on what your business model is, depends on what the size of your channel is, depends on whether you have a relationship with another culture. So those things could matter. Colin Michael has a question. Will this language tool be fully available to everyone this year? I think by 2025, but not by the end of this. We still don't have A/B testing on every single YouTube channel yet. That should be by the end of 2024, based on what YouTube's VP Amjad Hanif told me in our interview, based on what YouTube CEO Neil Mohan told me at dinner when we all went to the dinner for YouTube's Made event in New York. I got to speak with him. Some of you have seen that I got to take a selfie with the CEO of YouTube, which is really cool. That was really fun. That was a great moment. But we got to talk to him. We all did a dinner thing with him. It was dinner and cocktails, and we got to speak with him at length. And my understanding is it's a big priority to them to get us all the A/B testing tool before the end of 2024. The multi-language tool is a big initiative. It's a big push, but I don't think it'll be out to everybody before 2025. So we can cross our fingers and we can hope, but I think end of 2025 for everybody. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. Let's see, assuming you don't have to actually have a high percentage of views from Spanish-speaking countries to have some success. It doesn't have to be a high number, but it might be enough. What is NAB? Yeah, it's National Association of Broadcasters. Yep. Tubebuddy, good to see you guys in the house. Appreciate y'all. Colin Michael asks question, what's the best first channel to experiment with dubbing? Seems like Derral is set on Spanish. I mean, well, in America, we have a tremendous amount of Spanish-speaking people in America. So you would benefit in that market. And then we share the Western Hemisphere with South America, which is very large. Spanish speaking. I am bullish on both Spanish and Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese specifically. And Brazil is one of the top global channels when it comes to YouTube. It's number 3. It's India, US, and then it's Brazil. So in terms of play buttons, so that is why I am bullish on that specifically. Globally, Hindi. But I have a direct relationship with Spanish speaking from my family being with Panama, and so, and then me being able to do that, poquito. So like there is that value for me specifically, but some of you probably have some tangential relationship with a Spanish speaking audience, and then in terms of the consumer part of culture, it's going to be very aligned, and they will like a lot of the same content. So the thing is, the Latin world will like a lot of American-centric content anyway. So the thing is, there's some affinity there for viewership. Now, if you had to go to a completely different culture, American-centric things may not play well in, say, Japan as easily. Game show content like MrBeast will do very well in a Japan-centric audience because culturally the game show thing translates. But other things and jokes and culture and stuff like that, not so much. Education content to a degree can, science content to a degree can. So you have to really consider how well does my niche translate globally versus how American centric is my niche. And then do I want my content culturally to feel very American centric, or do I want to broaden my content to where it is more palatable across audiences? So then does that mean I take out memes if I'm doing meme stuff? Do I not make certain jokes? Do I speak in a certain way? So you have to consider what that would look like. DIY is very broadly appealing, and you would benefit from the Amazon influencer side. So Trisha Espinosa, I think you would do very well, especially with the Latin component there and everything like that. I mean, if this is something you're very serious about, consider potentially coaching with me, and we can definitely talk about it. I think there's links to that in the description of the video. You guys can check out awesomecreatoracademy.com if you want to do coaching with me, or if you want to join the pro group where we do 2 live Q&As on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You might have noticed my schedule for live streaming is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because my coaching schedule is Tuesday and Thursday. So that's why. So that is something to like consider. Some of you, if you're really focused on content strategy, monetization strategy, developing your personal brand, skill building, you know, maybe it's worth working with me, or it's worth joining the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group. If you want to do either of those things, just check out awesomecreatoracademy.com. If you guys are just looking for something small, easy, that's helpful to you, we have literally 3 different products that can help you right now. They're like $9. In the description, I think we have our AI creator prompts, $9.99. I did 200 AI prompts with ChatGPT to help you with productivity using AI and ChatGPT specifically. So it's just worth thinking about. Maybe it helps you, maybe it doesn't. YouTube actually doesn't own your videos in terms of your videos that's already there. We actually own the inventory of our videos. That's why I don't want to rely on ALoud, Google's ALoud dubbing tool, because we already own our videos. So you can use Ditto dubbing and it would work on your new videos, but also your old inventory. I'm doing my old inventory. I'm taking 100 to 150 of my best videos. We're going to upload them to Roberto in Espanol. My plan is that we're back cataloging them now. So my first grand experiment, in theory, is going to be we release, not right away, not this weekend, because I'm still localizing the thumbnails, but the plan would be we upload 30 videos in 30 days with the AI dubbing, 30 videos in 30 days with all the dubbing, all the localization on Roberto and Espanol. And so then what we would do after that is I upload another 70 so that we can have we uploaded. So, because I want the video case study to be, we did 100 videos in 100 days on, you know, an AI dubbing channel. So so that we can do that. That probably won't be the title, but that's the case study's value proposition is we translated 100 of my videos on 100 days. We uploaded 100 videos in 100 days on a new YouTube channel in a new language. Maybe that's the title. Or we did it in Spanish, like from English to Spanish, something like that. And that would be the case study. And then I want the data off of what happened with that case study, and we'll have the 100 videos. So right now, that's what me and Derral are working on for my Roberto, Blake, and Espanol YouTube education channel. We're taking 100 videos I have. They're made for YouTube creators. They're YouTube centric. And, you know, that includes YouTube growth, video editing, thumbnails, that sort of thing. That's why the green screen video is in there. And we're uploading that for a Spanish native speaking audience. And we're changing the language even in the thumbnails. It won't be these live streams, by the way, because that's too intense, at least for the moment. And we'll be doing those on that channel. And that's how we'll have that inventory and black catalog. And then as I'm doing education content going forward, we'll be doing in-depth education content on my channel. And then we'll be dubbing those in near real time to the Spanish channel. So like we'll do it in the Americas, and then a week or two later, it'll come out for the Espanol audience, just based on workflow, because I might have to do a new thumbnail, or I might just have to take some extra time or whatever, because it can do it in the same day. And frankly, it could do it in the same day. If I get ahead of my schedule, I could schedule the videos to go out to the different audience, and that would just change it for the time zone. Probably I would just change the release schedule on that more to a Mexican or South American time zone, and then set it up that way. But that would be the way we approach it. Chatty Kathy says, sometimes I think these streams of Roberto's are motivation for him as well as us. It is. It largely is. So Principal A says, do you have a mailing list link where we can sign up and learn about your schedule? I should include my streaming schedule in the newsletter. However, you actually can sign up for the newsletter, and you can get our 12-week free creator playbook. I have over 600 of you here. We're almost to 666. That might be a sign. You can get the free 12-week creator playbook, and I'll link to that here. And this will give you 12 weeks of focus. I based this on the concept of the 12-week year, and it'll give you 12 areas of focus. It'll give you a focus, a resource, and then an assignment. And then you got to understand the assignment. See what I did there? And then you can use that to grow and expand as a YouTube creator. So definitely make sure you're checking that out. I've linked it so that you guys can find it. And so you'll want to get the 12-week creator playbook. It's linked in the description. You can also use the link here on the screen. And I've also put it into the live chat for the live viewers. Those of you watching the replay, it will be in the info card of the replay as well. So you'll have it there. And yeah, when this processes, you'll have it there. Let's see. Ready to speak. More people watching your videos longer. Also live stream if it's your content, a radio station. I can watch, listen, monetized. And yeah, you can monetize fast with the live streams and the replays. A lot of people don't realize that. I did that for my podcast channel. But then we didn't upload for a good while. And then we missed the timing on something with like YouTube's policy in terms of if you don't upload for a couple of months, they take you out of the partner program. Went on hiatus because I needed to do more interviews in person. So I wanted to do in-person interviews, but I can get the watch hours back probably with the podcast next month with uploading all of the episodes we haven't done yet, uploading clips of the podcast as well. And then we're doing that with OpusClip, but also I'm going to live stream on the podcast. And what I'll do is I'm probably going to do it early mornings before I do my deep work session and before I do my coaching calls. And so probably I will start live streaming the podcast on the podcast channel before or after my workout. So that's something I'm looking at doing. Principal A says, but if we have a channel in two languages like Spanish and English, wouldn't it confuse the algorithm and the people? I'm new in YouTube, don't know how to separate that. I'm Spanish speaker, by the way. Thank you. That's one of the reasons why people are making certain localized channels, but on the consolidated channel, it actually doesn't negatively impact. And it's not just for MrBeast, it's for other channels that I'm seeing as well. It doesn't negatively impact them. So that is something YouTube takes into account. And so it's fine. It's working. I'm sure they got to work out more kinks on that. That's why they haven't rolled it out to everyone yet, is they're still working that out. But the thing is, there is an advantage to being an early adopter, but being an early adopter isn't without risk. When you're an early adopter, you do risk things. The early adopters to YouTube Shorts can tell you all about it. They can tell you all about it. So there are some risk that you take with being an early adopter, but also early adopters get every advantage too. So that's why. It's Just Joe says, I think for a game dev channel that intends on releasing a video game globally in a few different languages, this could be a game changer. Yeah, for that kind of thing, I would imagine that it could be a game changer. Tony Scott asks, you've mentioned when YouTube consolidates, what does that actually mean? It means at some point, when YouTube does manage to get localization and globalization as close to perfect as they're going to get it, if you, under the same YouTube account, have made a channel in Spanish, for example, like I'm doing, let's say, when YouTube consolidates, it means when I get 150,000 subscribers on Roberto Blake and Espanol YouTube Education, which I believe is, what is the translation of that? There is a my Spanish is still very rusty, as you can tell. That's why I'm relying on AI dubbing. It's also less work. But let's see. I wonder if that channel is showing up yet. Actually, I wonder if I can just show you guys, if I switch accounts, maybe I show you guys the back end of that channel, even though it's still in development. But I believe that the translation would be Education de YouTube. And if we use my tagline for my channel banner, it would be Beneficiate tu pasión en la educación creadora. Creadora. Economía creadora, which is creator economy. Economía creadora. Economía, economía creadora. So it would be beneficiate de tu pasión en la economía creadora. So again, I still have to reacclimate myself to Spanish speaking. I haven't done it. Like I said, my grandmother passed in 2016, and that was like kind of my emotional block on speaking Spanish. And I'm reacclimating to it, which requires also getting over the emotional block. But I'm also trying to encourage my siblings to start picking back up Spanish and doing Duolingo and things like that. Andy Rivera, who works for me, she's my operations manager for coaching at Awesome Creator Academy, and she's my co-instructor. She's Puerto Rican born, which also makes her a U.S. citizen, by the way. And she's bilingual, and she also is a native Spanish first speaker. So the thing is, that's also going to help me operationally with her looking over some things and helping me as well. And, you know, we can go back and forth in Spanish, and she can help me with that. So, like, we're going to ultimately get me to a stronger place there. But looking at it, and I want to show you guys a little bit of what I'm doing with this. Hang on, let me bring up the YouTube studio for this, not just the channel. Let me bring up the YouTube studio to show you the back end. So what I did was I've made the Roberto Blake in Espanol Education de YouTube, which is, and this one is, I think that translates to YouTube advice. Consejos de YouTube. So, Consejos de YouTube, which I believe translates basically to YouTube advice. So the about section is education. El educador de YouTube, Roberto Blake, te ayuda con consejos para hacer crecer tu canal de YouTube y obtener ingresos y tiempo completo como creadora de contenido en YouTube. So there you have it. Help you grow on YouTube, basically. Rough translation. Educator. Rough translation is YouTube educator Roberto Blake is helping you with becoming a content creator and earning a full-time income on YouTube. That's basically what the rough translation would be. Rough translation. Forgive me to all the Spanish speakers. Like I said, I'm still working on it. But there you have it. So on the back end, though, here, slowly in draft mode with content. And like I said, we're working on this with Ditto dubbing with the and this is on a longer video.
Pues las noticias son un tanto ambiguas. Por un lado, YouTube está saturado de contenido de baja calidad y poco esfuerzo. Si buscas destacarte, no puedes sumarte a eso. Pero estoy aquí para guiarte en elevar tu canal y convertirlo en un destino atractivo. Esa es la estrategia a seguir, ¿de acuerdo? 4 pasos simples. Empezamos con contenido de gran esfuerzo. Todo se reduce a tus ideas. Dedica más tiempo a la ideación en YouTube. Muchos se enfocan demasiado en la edición y...
So you see what I mean about the fact that the visual graphics are not localized. I have the files to where if I wanted to take the extra effort, what I would do is if I wanted to take the extra effort, I would download the audio dubbing that Ditto Dubbing provided and then go back into Premiere Pro and then swap out that audio track. And then I would also do the translation for all of my graphics. However, that would add another hour to 2 hour round trip of work on a non-monetized channel, which I'm not currently prepared to do. So like you can see why. Now, like I said, in terms of YouTube and consolidation, what that would look like is the way that would look is, like I said, if I grow Roberto in Espanol to 100, 150,000 subscribers, at some point in the future, YouTube will consolidate that and would just add that to the regular Roberto Blake channel, and it would connect these videos and just have the Spanish version for the Spanish people go over. and it would just basically consolidate my global audience subscribers into the one channel. The reason that that is somewhat problematic is the comment section would then end up having to be multiple people, which is why I want different channels, because I want the comment section to just be the community of people, because I'm community driven for that localized language. And then I also am going to respond to comments using translation tools in those native languages as well. So then that's for the purposes of community building. That's also going to give me the benefit for community building of, as the global release of my book being translated into those other languages, especially the audiobook being translated into those multiple languages along with the second edition of the book. That is what then allows that to work in a global marketplace. And then that scales my Amazon sales, my Amazon reviews, all of those things. So again, this is also going back to the concept of a global business model. A lot of you aren't even diversifying your content in the Americas and in the Western world and maximizing and optimizing your revenue enough here. But you might want to consider that you need to not only do that, but you need to also think about, how do I make more money abroad too as I reach that other audience? Because it shouldn't just be AdSense, and we already know the ad revenue probably is not going to be great. So what else can it be? And for a lot of you, that's the Amazon Influencer Program, at least as a start. At least as a start. So Boyce from Amisco Custom Design says, I rebranded my old podcast channel for YouTube for our laser engraving business this month. Is this more difficult than starting from scratch? Just curious on your thoughts, Roberto. It could be. It really could be. But I'd need more details, but it could be. Sometimes, as much as it sounds painful, sometimes the easiest thing is to start from scratch. That's why I'm also doing the Roberto in Espanol channel. It's also really good sometimes for me to get a taste of like just being a small YouTuber again. Sometimes that's healthy. Helps the ego. Let's see. Do you know if the uploaded subtitles will be taken into account by A Loud? It probably will be, but it also will likely on its own kind of verify the actual translation it's doing and that it comes up with, and it'll probably prioritize that. But that's a good question. Read to Speak says, Roberto, do you think that longer videos now, I make 8 minutes, would help get the watch hours needed? I make 3 videos a week. I'd be making my videos probably 9 to 12 minutes, to be honest with you. The average across YouTube for average view duration is about 30%, 35%, which basically you could say 1/3. So if we divide 1/3, then we know if we're making 100 videos a year and we theoretically can average out to getting 100,000 views for the year, that gets us 300,000 watch hours, which gets us qualified, because then we have buffer for the 240,000 watch minutes. Because like 4,000 watch hours is 240,000 watch minutes, 240,000 watch minutes, because it's 60 seconds, right? Sorry, 60 minutes to make an hour, right? So 4,000 hours is 240,000 watch minutes. If it's 240,000 watch minutes, my safety margin is 300,000 minutes. So 300,000 minutes is roughly 5,000 hours. The way that I want to go to that is 300,000 minutes. I want to average 3 minutes average view duration across 100,000 views. So you get 3 minutes average view duration across 100,000 views to get the watch minutes I need to qualify for the partner program. The way I would want to do it is I would go off of the 30 to 35% average view duration. 30 to 35% average view duration percentage means that I need to multiply by 3. So that means my videos have to be a minimum of 9 minutes, and I'd probably make them 12 minutes to be safe. So I'd go between 9 to 12 minutes for all of my videos while I'm not monetized. While my channel is not monetized, I'd make all of my videos between 9 minutes and 12 minutes or longer. and then get the views off of that, get 100,000 views. And then I know with that average view duration and that retention percentage, I know that I have a path to getting the 300,000 watch hours because I only needed 240,000 watch hours. So you see me, I just reduce everything to a math way. I've reduced YouTube, and I've even reduced YouTube monetization, YouTube business, YouTube. I've reduced it to mathematical formulas. I do the same thing with my investing in my personal stock portfolio. I just reduce everything to a formula, and then I build in about a roughly 20% margin of error into everything I'm doing, which is an extreme. It's excessive to build a 20% margin of error. I'm extraordinarily conservative. So I always am risk averse, and I build a 20%, aka a 1 out of 5 margin of error and failure rate into what I do, which is, again, it's excessive, especially if you have a good win record like me. But it just means that it's how I don't lose. It's how I know I can trust myself that I'm going to be right because I'm accounting for a 20% margin of error. So if I go with that, I have the watch hours. I know exactly the formula. So now I know, okay, I got to get 100,000 views. 100,000 views is not that hard when you make 2 to 3 videos a week, because now it's 100, 150 videos. So the thing is, I only need a certain percentage of them to be outlier bangers, but I only need them to make, at that point, between 800 to 1,000 views per upload at that ratio to be able to hit my numbers. So that's how I'd get the watch hours. I did an entire video about this you can watch. I'll probably do an updated video for 2024 because people are so reluctant to watch something that's 1 or 2 years old. They go, oh my God, it's outdated and everything like that. If I seem repetitive sometimes, what I do is sometimes I'll make the same videos that all of you watch every single year, but I'll add 1 to 3 specific new nuggets or new strategies layered on top of them. But the fundamental formulas and thesis of what I do remains a lot of the same because I prove it with math, but I also prove it with math, but I also watch the data trends and I see the same things working over and over and over because fundamentals don't change. There's actually just a 20% difference in style or tactic. It's a 20% different in style or tactic. 80% of a strategy never needs to change. It's the how it's packaged and deployed changes by a variable of 20%. That's also the margin of a derivative work for copyright law for when you want to do fair use and fair dealing. A derivative work is a work that's 20% different by legal standards, right? So then that means I apply the same logic and thesis to making a video different. Is if I have to cover the same thing, how to get 1,000 subscribers, how to get 4,000 watch hours, I'm going to make it at least 20% different for you in how I approach it or how I teach it or how I style it or how I do it. The fundamentals will be the same, but I'll add something new so it feels fresh in your mind, or that, oh, it finally relates and clicks for you. Or I'll add a new case study to it so that at least is new context that I'm adding as a layer, because the fundamental information should stay 70 to 80% the same, to be honest with you. Because things that are radically different are experimental. If it's experimental, then do you really want to base what you're doing off of something that's experimental just because it's a new shiny object? That's like chasing new shiny objects. It's like people who chase crypto or whatever. It's like, no, if you stick to what is fundamentally correct and proven, you will usually win because it's been proven to win and you can find a pattern. It's called pattern recognition, right? But when you want, oh, I want something new. I've heard it all before. Tell us something new. Tell us something we haven't heard before. Tell us something different. You're chasing something that's experimental and therefore unproven and undocumented. And then that has a higher percentage of failure rate. Security dictates and safety dictates that you do something that has a large track record of proven success over time. The reason people don't want to do it is because that they're worried, well, then that's saturated, because then if it's so proven, then everyone's doing it. And you'd be surprised how many people actually aren't doing fundamentals and aren't doing basics and aren't doing best practices and skip over small but important details and refuse to do the basic work and are just trying to find a shortcut, a trick, a get-rich-quick scheme. You'd be surprised how many people will take an experimental weight loss drug instead of just doing a proven diet and workout regimen. That's the difference. And people get rich off of selling experimental instead of proven. Proven is unsexy. It doesn't sell as well, but it works over and over and over. And so the thing is, it's outliers that win on experiments. But the thing is, the body count of people of failure rate in experiments is very high, very high. And the people who win in experimental situations also usually have undisclosed advantages or privileges. So that's why I try to, even if it sounds repetitive, there are so many people who have not heard the basics. There are so many people that need me to make tutorial content because there are new people who are just now getting camera gear and they don't know anything about camera gear. They don't know anything about basic editing. And the thing is, everything feels outdated. If it's 3 or 4 years old, it feels like, oh, that can't possibly be relevant for today. And the thing is, there's some level of truth to some of it, to be honest. But the thing is, most of it would still be relevant today, but you can't convince people of that. So the thing is, a lot of us in education, we are forced to make the same video every single year with a 20 or 30% difference because no one will believe that a video that's only 1 to 2 years old or even 3 years old still applies to them. People will not trust that. They will not believe that. In the same way that we have to make localized content for people in different languages in different countries that speaks to them, makes them feel like it was made for them, you also have to make things for people who don't know you. Sometimes you have to make that video fresh for people who don't know you and don't trust that your information was evergreen and trust that your information will stand the test of time. It is new to them and they demand what's new. So you can't ignore that. I've made the mistake sometimes of thinking I got to do something new instead of just making something old and tested and proven feel new to someone who's never heard it, or to someone who I didn't reach them the first time, or I didn't convince them the first time. And so there's a lesson in that. And there's some humility in that. Cadu Ribeiro says, to be honest, not sure if MrBeast and Colin Samir are using Ditto or something else, but their Portuguese dub is completely out of emotion and ribbon. Not sure if this dub thing will be really helpful. I don't believe Ditto, MrBeast used that in the beginning, but MrBeast has his own in-house localization now. So they're hiring, they're not using AI, I believe, for that. I think they're using physical people. I do not know who Colin and Samir are using. I think they might be using a company called Unilingo, but don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. You'd have to ask them who they're using for it. You'd have to ask Colin and Samir. I don't know, but I don't think that they're using Ditto, to be honest with you. Because I've seen a lot of Derral's case studies and stuff like that. He's told me some of the channels that he's currently working with. There's some people who launched and started with him, but then some people brought their stuff in-house or they made brand deals with other companies. So, you know, that's a different thing. But for what we saw for the version, I think, of mine, and I don't speak Portuguese, but once we, or again, I think I can bring it up here and you can see how, I can see if it's done processing. If you want to see, no, it's still not done processing. I mean, we saw it on Derral's though, for mine in Portuguese, and I think that worked, but I don't know how it would work for a Colin and Samir or a MrBeast because their style of content is so radically different. But we'll see. My content, education content, lends itself extremely well to dubbing, though. Especially the way that I approach mine. For those of you who don't know, I don't typically write scripts. I write outlines, and then I perform those. But I am a public speaker by trade. So since I'm a public speaker and educator by trade, I feel like my stuff lends itself better to this type of dubbing. And then because the way I emote and the way that I speak and my speaking cadence in the first place, I feel like my speaking cadence, my presentation style all lends itself very well to this and the ability for it to pick up on inflection because I speak that way anyway. So I speak with my hands because Latino. So, you know, so the thing is, for me, being a Caribbean Latino, it just like kind of already works because I already have cultural mannerisms that I think are going to be perceived well outside of America and work that way anyway. So let's see. Trisha asked, would responding in English in the comments that has that option to translate be acceptable? I would just use Google Translate, if nothing else, and respond with the translated version. And I would try to respond natively to the best of my ability while keeping it simple so that it's not miscommunicated or I don't get it wrong. So I'd keep it simple. But Google's Translate is actually really good. John Constantine says, if I can't afford Ditto dubbing, is allowed from Google better as an option if I can only upload, even if I'm stuck with YouTube? You are, but you're limited now in your options. But if you're financially limited, then you have to accept those limitations. This is the problem I have with free and freemium. This is why I aggressively push creators to monetize, is because the reality with monetization, the reason I push you all so aggressively on monetize, and I know that's not always about the money, but here's the thing. Money is an advantage, and you're competing for attention, and people are fickle with their attention. And the thing is, the person who can compete for their attention best wins. And the person who can usually compete for their attention best is the person who can put the most time, the most resources, or the most skill. And the thing is, you can work as hard as you can to have the most resources. You can't always have the most time. You can work as hard to have the most skill, but you can't always have the most resources or time. Do you know what solves for resources and time? Money solves for resources and time. So I push all of you, and I'm the monetization, how to make money on YouTube, how to make money with YouTube, how to make money off content, how to become a full-time content creator. I am that guy because I already know that not having money to invest into your content, it leaves you at a disadvantage. Primary example here is that it gives you limitations you would not otherwise have. Money is a tool. It is not the goal. Money is a tool because with the money, I can buy more time freedom. With money, I can buy other people's time. And with more time freedom and other people's time, I can produce better things. I can make better things. So now the craftsmanship goes up because the time invested in the product is concentrated. The other thing is more resources so that the time is spent making things better with better machinery, better tools, better software, better hardware, better everything is also better. So flowing money. I mean, MrBeast is the biggest YouTube creator because he was able to throw money at that problem. So the thing is, money is a tool that we use to make a better thing. So that's why monetization matters so much. And even as a small creator, I encourage you and push you to make money off your content. Should it be your sole focus and goal? No. But the thing is, it's like resources. So the thing is, if you were trying to work out and do better, I would tell you, well, you're going to need a higher protein intake to do that. Or, hey, you might need more carbs, more calories to have more energy to do a longer workout and to burn more here. So you need more fuel to burn. Right? We know that. That's why we know if you decide to work out or you decide to be a cross-country runner, I was in track and cross-country, protein intake, carb loads, calorie loads, you have to measure that and you have to say, and sometimes it's like, okay, if I want to do this, I have to bulk up here. If I want to do this, I have to cut here. YouTube is no different. There are things you have to cut and things you have to heavy load or front load from a resources standpoint. And so using money as a resource to improve content or scale content and opportunity, it plays a role. So if you can't afford something, that becomes a barrier. And then if it becomes a barrier, it becomes a limitation. If it becomes a limitation, it affects either quality, quantity, consistency, or distribution opportunities. And so just thinking holistically in that way as a creator and thinking about your creator business and taking this like a business, that is a limitation. Now, for the hobby creators, it's going to be great. For people who are just doing it for a hobby, people are like, okay, I'll just live and die on YouTube AdSense. It's going to be great because they don't need anything else and they're not trying to grow anywhere else and they're not trying to monetize anywhere else. But for that platform agnostic creator that doesn't want to be a digital sharecropper, doesn't want to be beholden to Google and YouTube forever, then, you know, you can start there, but you should have the goal to get away from it as quickly as possible at some point. And so my thing has always been, how can I, even from the beginning, you guys remember this. I think the OG people remember this. I've always done something that a lot of people would tell you never to do as a content creator. There's advice I don't follow as a content creator that would grow you faster, make you bigger, get me to 1 million subscribers, but it would so make me dependent on YouTube that I'm reluctant to do it. There are things that could grow my channel, get me more views, get me more subscribers, but they would make me so dependent on YouTube, I'm reluctant to do them. So I do something in an opposite direction so that I can have control, because control matters a lot more to me. But it matters more to me than it might to some other people. Some people, it will not matter to them, but I care a lot about it. And I think it's just a little bit of PTSD from being an employee. like for real, like for me, there are things that I won't do and I won't think games I won't play when it comes to my content creation because it's too much like being an employee again if I do it. But that's just me. That's not for everybody. For a lot of you, you don't take it as seriously as that and you don't have those hangups and you're going to be able to grow bigger, faster. And that works for a lot of my clients. A lot of times I'll tell my clients, hey, no, you don't do what I do. you're more of a YouTuber than I am. I'm more of a business guy at this point than I am a YouTuber. I'm a business guy. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a creative entrepreneur who's on YouTube, uses YouTube as a tool, uses it as a platform, but I'm platform agnostic. So don't copy me on some things. There are things I tell people, if YouTube is your dream, then you don't copy me, because YouTube isn't my dream. My dream is freedom. My dream is freedom. So there's things you won't copy if you're optimizing to be the biggest YouTuber you can be. There are things you would do if your goal is freedom, or you have a freedom number, or there's a certain amount of money you want to make, or if you're like over 30 or 40 and you're more family centric and you want some different type of leverage, or you want a different type of work-life balance, then maybe you would duplicate some of the things I'm doing. But if you're young and you're YouTube hungry, then maybe you go in a different direction. I can tell you what that direction is. I can tell you what worked for my clients and got some of them, especially like my gaming clients, to silver and gold play buttons. If I was a lot smarter, what I would have done is, instead of hanging up my Monopoly guys, I would have hung up my clients' play buttons on that wall, like Derral. But I really like the Monopoly guys. But anyway, so that's just what that looks like. Kadu says, I believe that if the dub quality doesn't honor the creator, the vibe will damage more than help some channels. It depends on the channel. You're right. It depends on the channel. But also, not everyone takes it that seriously. Not everyone takes it that seriously. So you're right. Wow, we have almost 700 of you on the stream. That is tremendous. Yeah. RL says, but it's true that new things are improving, so you need to tread lightly. Yep, I'd agree with that. Yep, that's the point I was trying to make earlier. Chatty Cathy says, yeah, your audience, fellow creators, you are educating is always growing, so there are new channels forming. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, consistency is key. SMA Sky says, consistency is key. I've noticed that myself, that the more consistent I am, the more views I get on live streams, the more subs I'll get. If I take a break for a week or two, it slows down. Yeah, that was my biggest problem. So like, in context, you guys, if I had not taken the massive breaks I took during the pandemic, like during these pandemic years, I took a massive L on growth because I cut the upload consistency by 75%. For those of you who've been longtime followers, you remember there was a point where I was daily, and then I was able to get the same amount of views and subs and more without doing daily, and cutting from daily, which got me to 100,000 subs. I was able to get 100,000 subs a year by cutting down to 200 videos, then cutting down to 150 videos and just doing 3 times a week. And that was the norm for about a good 2 years, and we could do that. But then the pandemic happened, and I had moved in between that. I'd moved twice because I bought it. Before I bought my house, what happened was I moved from North Carolina to Georgia. So that was a big state move, and I had to tear down my entire setup and I had to start over. But then I did that and I got comfortable for a year, got my setup locked in, was trying to bang out content, stay on top of that. That was in 2017, 2018, end of 2017, beginning 2018, right? So then I start doing that. Then landlord wants to sell, so I have to move again. So then I move again after only being settled in a place for a year, because I didn't want to buy that house. I needed something slightly bigger because my brother was going to come back. So then what happens, I had to tear down my YouTube setup that I spent a year getting perfect. Had to tear down my YouTube setup. But then I also bought a new set of cameras. And then that's when, you guys remember, I switched over to 4K and I went all in on Sony and I sold my Panasonic cameras. So then I had to move again. So then I had to start over. And then I got the stuff together again, and then we're trucking, we're going, yeah, it's great. And then the pandemic happens. Dun, dun, dun. And so then we go through all that nonsense, and I'm like, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? When is this going to end? And I start getting depressed. And so then we have the pandemic, I get depressed, and then, you know, we sprinted to, I think we crossed like 500,000 subs or something like that. We sprinted to 500,000 subs, and I got 60,000 subscribers in a year. Only uploading 100 videos or something like that. And then it was a steady decline to where I started doing 50 videos a year or less. And that happened throughout the rest of the pandemic, 2021, 2022, 2023. So like, I had these massive breaks where I was going 4 months without uploading content. Totally tanked the growth, tanked the momentum, tanked views. Good news is, because I diversified properly, money actually increased and I made more money doing less, dramatically more money doing less actually during the pandemic. And we're still kind of on our way and we've done very well. And part of that is because we have great sponsors, like I've told you, but they all helped me diversify. Streamyard helped me with diversifying across platforms, and that actually helped me a lot. And it helped me with my other sponsors. OpusClip is helping me now, and it's growing my Instagram again, and it's growing my x.com, formerly Twitter, and my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is growing. I have over 12,000 followers on LinkedIn, and it's growing. I think I can get to 100K in 3 years on LinkedIn if I do my new strategy. And then obviously Kajabi, and we don't even sell a $500 course yet. That's all from the membership group and coaching. And in 6 years, we've done 600,000 in revenue with coaching and with the pro group membership, with us doing pro group members and doing our 2 live private sessions a week of office hours and doing our hot seats and doing our thumbnail roast and doing that. And so that's been great. And they also get all the other digital products. We did the digital products, the single download digital products like the YouTube starter kit, the brand deal starter kit, the creator prompts, 200 creator prompts, all that stuff. So what happened was I diversified beyond YouTube. And even with slowing down by 75% less uploads, going from 150 uploads down to 50 uploads, I still made more money, just not in AdSense. But actually, my AdSense didn't do that bad compared to when I did more content. Even with less views, my RPMs went up. So the thing is, I made more money doing less videos, but my growth suffered. And the thing is, it sucks because I was also on a trajectory where I was growing a lot, and I was growing faster than a lot of other help-centric channels for creators. And if I had not reduced the uploads, because what it is if I do 150 uploads, I will grow by 10,000 subscribers a month with 150 uploads a year. I will, if I upload roughly 10 to 12 videos a month, grow by 10,000 subscribers a month. It's been proven before, over and over. We have the analytics data. So I looked at the data and it said that was true. And it was year over year over year over year. Ever since I hit 100,000 subscribers, that's been the case, right? So we had that data. If I had stayed on that track during the pandemic instead of getting depressed, but there was a lot of reason to be depressed. Let's face it, the world was on fire. Then I'd be at 1 million subscribers today. No question. And I might be making double the money. So I implore a lot of you to figure out how to be consistent on YouTube, because being consistent will be the biggest game changer for your channel. And it'll either go very well because you are being consistent, or it will go very poorly when you stop being consistent. And 2 weeks is too long of a break with no uploads to dig yourself out of the hole. So what I would tell you guys is, at least when you're going to go on a 2-week vacation or something, have 1 video per week scheduled to still go out while you're gone. Try to avoid long hiatuses. Unless you have a bunch of viral content goes, oh, this person only uploads once a week. This person only uploads once a month. This person only uploads a couple times a year. If you're a viral content creator, have at it. But those are rare and they're unicorns, and they're probably not watching this content. So like, if you're a viral content creator, you do you. Have at it, Hoss. But for the rest of us mere mortals, the answer is very simple. We never miss a week of uploads. We upload 2 to 3 times a week if we can, especially when we have momentum. When we have momentum, we pour gasoline on our channel and we let it blow up. And we just keep pouring on momentum. We keep pouring on consistency, and that high tide of a good banger video raises all the other ships. And that's just how it is. And it's what I've seen work over and over and over. Consistency wins. Well, what about making better quality content? There's a threshold where your audience isn't asking you to be extra and to do anything more. When your audience says yes, take yes for an answer. Like people who like you back. Take yes for an answer. That is a life lesson, not just a YouTube lesson. One of the greatest lessons in life is to like people who like you back and learn when to shut up and take yes for an answer instead of being extra. That's just the truth. Life lesson right there. Works on YouTube, works in business, works for everything else. So, that's a whole thing. D4 says, hi, Roberto. I love your work. I'm finishing Derral's book and buying yours next. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, D4. Yeah, if you guys haven't already, make sure you're checking out the book. It should be linked in the description, but you can find it in Amazon. It's called Create Something Awesome, How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. This one is really great. I put a lot of love into it. Audio version coming soon. And again, when we do the audio version, I am going to try to localize and dub it into multiple languages. And so that's going to be one of the holdups. And then, boom, we're going to scale off of that. That's going to help me tremendously. Roberto, do you think that YouTube promotion is a good tool to grow a channel, even if you don't have any products to offer? Not the YouTube promotions button. That will hurt your channel. If you use that promotions button in YouTube that basically turns your video into an ad, if it's not meant to be an ad that is meant to sell your products or grow your email list, it will hurt your business. I'm sorry, not hurt your business. It will hurt your YouTube channel. The promotions tab is meant just like it is in Instagram. It's meant for businesses and direct consumer brands to have an easier way to promote their ads in YouTube, because the Google ad system is really old and archaic. It's very boomer. The Google ad system is very boomer. Most of the people in marketing and advertising are millennials or Gen Z now. And so as far as people using social media platforms, so they had to make the promotions tool in YouTube because that's all millennials and Gen Z understand. And they don't want to deal with the boomer tools in Google's video ads product anymore. The same reason that Instagram has the promotion tab in Instagram. It's not for people to grow their Instagram profile. It's for businesses to advertise their products and services. So same thing. Do not use the promotions button in YouTube. I need to make like some small dedicated video about that and just explain that to people. It's not for you. This YouTube feature will destroy your YouTube channel and hurt your views. That's how I'm going to title that video. I'm going to title that video with fear and panic so people actually watch it and make sure that people understand they will burn their channel to the ground using that tool, because it wasn't made for them. It was made for companies. It was made for the brands. So that's why. So no, do not do that. Principal Pal A asks, Roberto, do you have a free Facebook community to get into your world? No, I have a Discord server that's free. I don't spend as much time there. Other people do. At this point, my life is just hectic enough to where if you want to be part of a community, I have a paid community. It's the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group. Right now, as of this moment in March 2024, it's $59 a month. In summer, June, if people haven't joined, new people will have to pay $99 a month because of all the new products we're introducing and all the new exclusive content. But we do 2 live office hours a week. You can go to awesomecreatoracademy.com to find out more, and you can join the pro group. It's $59 a month right now. If you buy it, we'll grandfather you in when the new people get the new pricing. And so you'll be locked into your old pricing. We meet twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can ask questions on the live stream. We get into live video group calls. We do audits, we do roast. We even have an accountability club for people who want accountability partners to check in with them every week and make sure they're staying on top of their stuff. We have Winning Wednesdays where we motivate everybody with small wins and we acknowledge our small wins. We do a lot of stuff there. We also have, every day you can post questions and we'll answer them. Me and my operations manager, Andy Rivera, will take care of you there. My sister, Ariana, is my personal assistant. She also does customer service and touches base with people. So we've got a team behind my group coaching and my community there. We got a team behind that. And I find that works more. I also find the creators who pay to be in the pro group are much more serious than any time I've been part of free Facebook communities or Discord servers. Is that people just take it more seriously. But we do have a free Discord server that you can check out. And so, the main thing is if you actually want to be with other serious creators, I recommend joining the pro group. We call it the pro group because the whole goal is to become a full-time content creator if you're not. So if your goal is to become a full-time content creator, having a community support you, having other creators to give you feedback and criticism, constructive criticism, and knowing that you're kind of in a place where everyone is paid to be there and is taking it seriously and is getting value. I mean, we discuss brand deal stuff there too. We do that every week actually, because someone always brings up a brand deal and we talk about like negotiating the stuff. We had, it wasn't Cassandra we had recently. Who did we have recently? It wasn't Cassandra. It wasn't Shannon. We recently had one of our creators. I wanted to kind of give her a shout out. But we had one of our creators. She was originally going to do a brand deal where she was going to offer them $1,500 on a single video deal. And what we did instead was I told her that she needed to go and offer a 6-month package. And then she was originally going to try to offer that 6-month package at $5,000. I taught her about price anchoring. I taught her about value-based pricing and price anchoring and developing packages. And so then she built out a package and we used price anchoring, and she led with 2 offers. She led with a $12,000 offer and an $18,000 offer. They wanted most of the perks of the $18,000 offer, but they wanted the $12,000 price. That's how we negotiated on it and got the price anchoring right. Okay. So then she just took away some of the deliverables from the 18,000 package, and they took away some of the deliverables from that package, so she wouldn't have to do the same amount of work for $6,000 less over that 6-month contract. But they then added a bonus into it to where if she converts people to a certain product, that she'll get $100 commission per product. But they put in a thing to where they want her to hit 10 conversions a month, right? And it's like, well, it's 6 months. The 10 conversions, if she hits that, she'll get the same 18,000 anyway, or potentially more if she gets more than those. So now she's going to optimize the campaign to also get herself as many conversions as possible, because now she can make more money than what she asked for in the original contract. So we worked out something like that. That's like an example. That's just one of the examples of the kind of thing we work on in the pro group. It's more than just roasting your thumbnails or whatever. It's that we're really optimizing around how do you be a full-time content creator? How do you do it sustainably? What are the workflow and systems and AI tools we can use so that if, for those of you, because most of our creators in the pro group are people over 30 who are married with families or they have small children. So the thing is, we're also trying to optimize around how to build the perfect workflow for people, so that they can actually have work-life balance with their family and set some boundaries. Because my ideal optimization is I'm trying to build systems that could help most creators get down to, while being full-time, if they're not trying to be extravagant and they're not trying to make $1 million a year or something like that, something ridiculous. If you want to make $1 million a year, you end up working 60 hours a week, right? We're trying to actually get people to where, what if you can make like $100,000 a year or make $10,000 a month? But what if we could build systems and AI tools to where even if you're a solo content creator, what if you could be a solo content creator and work 4 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week, and set those boundaries, and then you get to be a human being and have a family? And what if you can do that build up to that while you have a job? What if you can build up to that while you have a job and just work 20 hours a week while you have a job? And what if we can build up to where you can replace that income working 30, 40 hours a week? But what if you could scale that income, get bigger, and then scale down the hours and then only work 20 hours a week and still make $100K a year or $10,000 a month? Now, that's not for everybody. And some people want to make more, and some people want to work harder, and some people don't have families and don't have small children. So some people can work longer and can work like 60 hours if they want to and go bigger and make a lot more money. But what we're trying to optimize around is, okay, where's our monetization stuff? This is why, like, I can't with monetization Monday, workshop Wednesday, and then, FAQ Friday. That's the reason I came up with it, because I realized that that's what we're optimizing around. We're optimizing around content strategy, monetization, and skill building for your personal brand. And the reason is we want to get more money with less time and less frustration. And we want to streamline these into processes that we can duplicate and make sustainable, so that we don't have to make too many compromises. And so that's why I developed the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group. And then that's why we restructured it. Me, Andy, and Ariana, we built it out that way. And so now I'm also bringing my brother, Andre, onto the project as well. He's going to start doing video editing of some things, some of the paid content, some of the free content, so that I can actually build some of these courses, because now we're going to build the DIY courses, because we did the work together as a group stuff. We did the done for you products with the digital downloads and template systems and with the creator prompts and the creator protocols. We did the done for you stuff. So we've already done work for you, and that's the stuff you buy that's ready made that you customize. We do the done with you, with one-on-one coaching, and we then do the done together as a group with the pro group. So then the last bucket we had to figure out was the do-it-yourself component, And we have micro courses that are $99, but we wanted to build like complete courses that have systems. And so then that's going to be the new courses that we're developing for this year. And that's why my brother is going to be like working on some editing stuff. So we needed those 4 columns. And so then that's where also the placement and the help of like having the 4 team members, me and the other 3 team members, that's where that came in. So it's all math. I just break everything down to its logical conclusion. That's just how my brain works. And so then we just systematize everything. We systematize everything. And the goal is to streamline workflows so that creators can have more time for their family or to build a family if that's their goal. And then they can optimize around that. They can make more money with not tying the time to the money component, which is why we came up with the 6 core like revenue stream. We have the 6 core revenue streams, and then there are duplications of those revenue streams. So what that looks like is there's 6 categories of revenue streams, but then you can duplicate on them. And so for me, that's like 20 income streams or like 20 income sources, I guess you could say, something like that. So that's how we end up like scaling. And that's how we accomplish that model. An example of this would be, okay, 1 income stream would be brand deals and sponsorship, but you could have 5 brand relationships that are monthly recurring revenue. So every one of those is an income source. So you have brand deals as an income stream, but then you have 5 brand partners that you're doing monthly recurring revenue with. So now you have these 5 income sources. So if you have 5 income sources and you have 5 12-month relationships, and let's say we got all of you to a place to where those 12-month relationships, you sold a gold package. Let's say your gold package was $5,000 a month, but your silver package was $3,000 a month. Any combination of your $3,000 and $5,000 packages on the brand deal side would make you more than 6 figures if you do those on a 6 to 12-month relationship basis, right? This will be in the brand deals talk that we're going to do that we have scheduled. This will explain that, but this is kind of a teaser, I guess, for that. So that would make you 6 figures by itself, right? But what if on those brand deals, what if out of those 5 companies, what if 3 of them also offered you affiliate commissions? So then you have another revenue stream called affiliate commissions, even though it overlaps with your brand deal partners, but now you have 3 of those. And what if you were making $1,000 a month in commissions on all 3 of those? Well, now you have another $3,000 a month of recurring revenue. So now that's 1/3 of 6 figures, because that's $36,000 a year off the affiliate stream. So you'd have 6 figures in the brand deals, a good 5 figures out of the affiliate marketing. And that's similar to what I do, because I do like over I like now, I think it's it was 100K before. It's now almost 200K in brand deal contracts, long-term contracts, because of my brand partners. Thank you to Streamyard, OpusClip, Kajabi, and Streamable, my brand partners. So you do that, and this is why selling packages works really well. If you sell a $30,000 package and a $60,000 package, and that's your deal, on 6 or 12 months, then boom, you've figured it out. You've scaled. So then if you do affiliate, I do affiliate, and I'm making maybe, I think it's roughly, bad month is $5,000, good month is $6,000. So you go to 665, you could split the difference, 65,000 on affiliate marketing, right? Affiliate links. Okay. Not, I don't think I even include Amazon in that right now. So then you have that. That's good money. That's still good money. That money then is a resource, and you can go, okay, well, if brand deals pays my staff and it pays my team, then what do I put the 60,000 from affiliate into? At that scale, maybe you throw that, and that pays the IRS and that pays your taxes. So then you have your ad revenue. Well, your ad revenue that you get paid from YouTube, you get paid on that once a month. So maybe because that's once a month, that's not, cash flowing so great. Maybe you don't pay your mortgage with that. Maybe you do. I don't know. So you do that. I make like 35, 40 grand off of AdSense, right? So in theory, you could use that, and you could apply that to my mortgage payment because I live in Georgia. So you could go that route. Okay. So it's like, oh, I have money to live off of. Oh, I have the money to pay the taxes. Oh, I have the money to pay the staff. So then you need a revenue stream that maybe you can use to reinvest back into the business, right? So then in my case, you could look at that and you could be like, oh, well, that'd be my digital products. Now, some of you, it'll be physical products. It'll be merchandise. It'll be a DTC brand. It'll be you doing like coffee, or it'll be something like that, whatever. Or maybe you sell a physical product. For me, it's the digital products, it's the membership group, it's the coaching. So it's Awesome Creator Academy. So then that's 100,000. Okay, great. Boom. That could go back into investing in scale for the business, or that could go, you could invest that long term. You could say, well, I want to put something into the retirement, or oh, you want to put something into your kid's college fund, or you could do so. Like you'd build revenue streams, right? You'd build out the 6 main revenue streams. Then you'll scale multiple income sources across each of these revenue streams, because you can make money off YouTube AdSense, sure, but you could also be in a partner program for another platform. You could be in a partner program with Instagram or Facebook, for example. Some of you will do TikTok. You know, I don't mess with TikTok. You could be in the X.com, formerly Twitter's creator program. You can make some money over there. Maybe it's not a lot. I think I make like $200-300 a month total off of X.com, formerly Twitter. That's not great money, but they're also not doing the video ad sharing program yet. That's just for posting to Twitter. Once they do the video ad sharing portion, I will probably make $1,500, $1,000 off of X.com once they do the ad sharing on videos, because I have a strategy for that, and a lot of it revolves around my repurposing strategy. Okay. A lot of it revolves around live stream and podcast clipping repurposing strategy. Okay. So I know I can make money there. Once I start making that, then that starts actually being really good money. Right. So it's just different things you can do. You should build as many revenue streams as you can. To not get overwhelmed, you probably start with 3 core revenue streams at the beginning of your channel that you can rely on. Maybe they're more tied to the channel. So maybe that's your AdSense, maybe that's your fan funding, maybe that's channel memberships and donations, and maybe you do something else. Maybe you do Patreon, or maybe you do merch. And that could be like year 1, right? But then every year, if you add 1 or 2 income streams and you refine them and you build them up, and you build 1 or 2 revenue streams, and your goal is to get them to $1,000 a month each, as you build out those revenue streams year over year, you're now having a trajectory to increase the amount of money that you're making. And if you increase the amount of money that you're making on the revenue streams you already have, and in my mind, you don't have to double your revenue streams each every year. But if you increase each of your revenue streams by 20% of what they are every year, 20% year over year compounds to where, and I think it's 4 years of compounding. It might be 3. At 20%, it might be 3. It might be 4. I think it's 4. Someone could check my math. 4 years of compounding at 20%, you doubled where you started from. You doubled where you started from in 4 years. And then that's tremendous. And so the thing is, if you plan your career accordingly, now some people are more aggressive than that than me. Some people try to grow their business by 30% year over year. That's a little much for me. 20% is plenty. 30% is aggressive as hell, but 20% is plenty. So the thing is, 20% increase year over year in a diversified content business, you would then, by year 4 or 5, you're doing really well because you doubled where you started. And then in another, like over the course of a decade, you might have doubled twice, doubled 3 times. Like that's pretty significant. So that would be like my trajectory for people. And that's why I try to teach. And that's what the kind of stuff that we teach in the academy and the pro group is. We talk about monetization, and we talk about more beyond the AdSense stuff, more beyond the obvious things. And you can tell how much thought I put into this. So we try to make it much more than the obvious things. And then for content strategy, the way we're going is we go about sustainable content strategy. I do not teach people how to go viral. And the reason I don't teach people how to go viral is because it's not possible for most people. It's not possible for most people. And it's not practical for most people. And most people will ruin their life by going viral. You don't see the link for the pro group, Trisha? All right. Well, I'm going to add it here for you guys. I'm going to add it in the chat, and I'm going to add it to the description for the stream. And I'm also going to show you guys what the website looks like for that. So if you go to this link, www.awesomecreatoracademy.com/group, I'm going to add that to the description here. Check out the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group. There you go. So that will take you there. So we've added that to the description. So anybody who needs that, you can refresh, or you can use the link in the chat. So I have a page that tells you basically everything you get. You get all this stuff and more. So we get all the digital products. So you get all access to all of our digital products, which is pretty significant. And you get those for as long as you're a monthly member. And you get access to our 2 weekly office hours calls with me and Andy Rivera. She's great. You'll love her. And you also get access to any new products that we add. You'll get access to those. And you can do monthly or you can do yearly. And you get to ask your questions in our live office hours, but you could also post them to the private group and we'll answer those. We also did 100 hours of free training, and that's because we did 100 webinars, I believe. We did 100 webinar trainings. So that's why we have 100 hours of training that's exclusive. It's not repurposed YouTube videos. Here's Andy. So you guys will meet her. And then, like I said, we focus on content strategy and planning. We focus on production, publishing consistently, and then promoting offers that lead to profit. So the 4P system. So that's what the Academy Pro Group is about. And that's why I built that out for you guys. And now you kind of know how my head works around the being a full-time content creator thing. My thing is, what if I got you from 40 hours a week to 4 hours a day because we're using AI tools, systems, you have a content calendar. Just like you guys saw my monthly content calendar, it's all mapped out. I figured out my Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule for my live streams. And then what if you could just go, okay, I'm going to work for 4 hours today and I'm going to get everything done. In fact, for a lot of you, I'll give you guys a hint and a tip. Do you know what a lot of you should be doing? What a lot of you should be doing is you should be waking up really early and you should be doing what I call deep work. You should be doing deep work where you work for 90 minutes at a time uninterrupted. And if you do 2 deep work sessions, 90 minutes at a time uninterrupted, that's 3 hours of work focused completely on what is in front of you, right? So let's say you're a normal person, but let's say for whatever reason, like your schedule is such that you don't have to be into the office until like 10 o'clock for some reason, right? Let's say you don't have to be into the office until 10 o'clock for whatever reason, all right? Let's say you woke up at 5 a.m. I know that's extreme for some of you. Let's say you woke up at 5 a.m. You wake up at 5 a.m., you're going to have an hour to yourself to do a morning routine, and now the world is basically quiet and silenced, and now you could work in silence. You're ready to go. You've refreshed yourself. You've taken some time. You've had a good breakfast. You've gotten dressed. You've done all of your morning routine maintenance, and now it's 6 o'clock. From 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you could work for 3 hours straight, uninterrupted, with peak energy, no one to interrupt you, no distractions, and nothing else on your mind, with your peak energy and peak stamina before anyone's taken your energy, before all the energy vampires show up in your life. You have all of your energy to yourself and you can work for 3 hours. And that 3 hours will be more productive than if you worked 8 hours. And then it's 9 o'clock. And now you're like, okay, I've got to be at work at 10. You go out, you're at work at 10, but now you've gotten so much work done behind you. And now you're not going to be working on your content and your project and your business on the fumes and scraps of energy after working for 8 hours, because you did the first thing first. You did the thing that matters to you, and you did it first thing in the morning, uninterrupted, and you had your peace because you had an hour to yourself. Then you get 3 hours of deep work because you worked in 90-minute sprints on one thing at a time and got to focus on it in silence and in quiet and in peace. First thing in the morning. Now, not all of you are like, Roberto, Roberto, I have to be at the office before 10. That's not going to work. Like, I'm just using that as an example, because another more realistic version is if you wake up at 5, you do your morning routine at 6 o'clock. If you just work for 90 minutes, great. 6 o'clock to 7:30, you got 90 minutes done. For some of you, that could be a video editing session. For some of you, that could be filming your content for the whole week. It could be any number of things. Could be writing a banger script if that's what you need to do in silence. And then, oh, it's 7:30. You got to be at the office for 8:30 or 8 o'clock. Boom. All right. I've gotten the first thing first. I got to work on my stuff for myself for an hour or 90 minutes. Boom. All right. I'm off. I got that out of my head. It's not in my mind. Boom. You go and you work. But the thing is, if you go and you come back from work after 8 hours, I don't think that you come back from work after 8 hours and that you film content or you try to do YouTube. No, you do it in the morning. You do your stuff in the morning in silence, because then when you come home, I think you should just recharge and spend time with your family and at the hour that you would normally waste on like Netflix as your hobby thing and everything, no, you don't edit. Well, no, you could edit, but I don't recommend it. I don't recommend editing when you're tired. You'll make bad choices. I don't recommend filming when you're tired. You'll have poor delivery, poor energy. Spend that time, and you spend the hour to half hour that you would spend decompressing and watching Netflix or playing a video game. You spend almost all your time with your family, but then you only spend an hour, hour and a half instead. And you can use that to work on a thumbnail. You can use that as research time. You can use that time to learn more about YouTube or content creation. And then that's practical for your after work time. Because if you're running on fumes after you've worked all day, went ahead and did the 9-to-5 job thing, that's not the optimal time to do creative work when it comes to performing on camera or making judgment calls on your edits. It's going to be poor quality work. So you should do it while you're fresh and you have energy, which is why doing it first thing in the morning is probably the better idea, or on your day off. So this is about the optimization while you still have the 9-to-5 job. When you don't have the 9-to-5 job, doing the work first thing in the morning becomes the simple thing to do. Okay. So like, this is how you'd plan it out. And this is what we talk about. This is why we do things in the pro group. Most people would never think of this on their own. On their own, they'd never think of this. So what you do is all of those non-essential tasks, things that are important but not urgent and don't require the energy levels, the same energy levels, then you do the low energy task after work, and you only do it for an hour, half an hour, or 90 minutes, and that's it. And all the rest of the time is either recharge if you have and spend time with your family if you have a family. If you're single and solo, you don't grind yourself into the ground. You use that for hobbies, socializing, friendship, building relationships, doing that whole thing so that you're not an isolated loner. And that's how you get the work-life balance. And then on your days off, what you do is you get the 8 hours of sleep, but you give 8 hours to having a life, and you give 8 to 10 hours to doing your craft, so that on the weekend, and let's just assume you work Monday through Friday, so it's the weekend. What I would say is 10 hours on Saturday and Sunday to do content creation. So it's now 20 hours of productive work, maybe 18, and you do it in 90-minute sprints at a time, 90 minutes to a task. Sometimes that task will be back-to-back video editing, by the way. Sometimes it'll be back-to-back filming, whatever it is. So then that's your 20 hours of productive work. Because by the way, you don't need 40 hours to get work done. You just need productive work at high energy. And the thing is, it can be less hours. 20 hours spent and scheduled effectively and efficiently is better than 40 hours squandered. And most of you at your 9-to-5 job, the work you actually did that mattered was done in 20 hours. Your boss and your job squandered that time on meetings and other frivolous things that were not productive work, were not deep work. So the thing is, all you need to do is deep work. And so if you do deep, there's a book called Deep Work, by the way. But like, if all you do is deep work and you do like these sessions, and even if you spread them out on your weekend, you could spread them out on your weekend. You could do a morning session for 3 hours, an afternoon session, and then not a late evening, but an early evening session for 3 hours. And you could break up time in between to be a human being and do other things with that time. So I'm not telling you have to work 8 or 10 hours straight on the weekend. Not at all. I actually recommend the opposite. But I think that if you sleep 8 hours on the weekend, but you still wake up early, you knock out a deep work session, you're done before 9. Now you still get to have a morning to be a human being, from morning until the afternoon, and do lunch. But then after lunch, you can do another deep work session. And then you can still have some afternoon stuff. And then you can work into the evening, but not too late. That way you're probably done with working by sundown. And then you're just enjoying the evening. So it's literally waking up with the sun and being done with all your work before the sun goes down is kind of the methodology here. And so that's how you could get, 8 or 10 or 9 hours in that way. You don't have to do 3 hours though. You could do it in 2-hour intervals in somewhere in there if you wanted to. It's maybe the evening shift is 2 hours because you're out of steam. So that's fine. And so getting in that work, getting in 8 hours on the weekend on both days, 16 hours, you got in an hour or two here or there throughout the week. Boom, you got your 20 hours of productivity. You put first thing first. You got these tasks done. You still got to be a human being, spend time with family, friends, relationships, socializing. You don't feel deprived now. It's optimal. It's optimal. Is it a real day off? No. But it's also making room for your dreams so that you won't have to make those compromises. And maybe you only do that for 2 years. Maybe it's 3 years. Maybe that's your season of hustle. Then you're able to leave the full-time job and you're able to do it. Or you figured out that, hey, I didn't grow enough to make this work in 3 years. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's just a hobby and I don't take it that seriously. Maybe you figure that out. So it's an either way. You at least gave it an honest shot and you didn't have to suffer too much. Again, that kind of thing goes over most people's heads. Wouldn't even think of having to schedule their life that way. Wouldn't even figure out how to make content right size in their life. But that's kind of the entire goal of having support, having a mentor, having coaching, or even having a support group, having a, like something like we do at the pro group, is people who can tell you, hey, this is what's working for me, or this is what I'm doing, or hey, I'm going to hold you accountable. If you said you were going to release a video on Monday, I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to check in. I'm going to ask how the video is doing. That keeps you on track. That keeps you on pace. Setting a schedule keeps you on track, keeps you on pace. When you let this thing be loosey-goosey and there's no accountability, that's why you don't grow. I know that because I went through it during the pandemic. The thing that grew was my business because I had mechanisms to keep me accountable to my business and have as many mechanisms to keep me accountable to the content. Why do you think I scheduled all the live streams a month in advance? It'll keep me accountable. It's very hard to not put out 12 videos now if I've kind of made a promise on what days I'm doing them. So, so like that was my gotcha for me to make sure that I do the work is it's on the schedule. If it's on the schedule, it's a priority. If it's a priority, it's a promise. So those kind of things actually do help you, is when you know, hey, I've got to show up. I've got to be accountable. Hey, I've allocated time to a task. So the task will take the time that I allocated to it. And so that's why those things would matter. Melly Cinco, you just purchased the yearly membership. Glad to have you. Hey, Roberto, do you do any spaces on more of an open discussion? I'm working out something to where I'm going to do Twitter spaces. I'm trying to figure out if there's any way to combine Twitter spaces in a practical way with my live stream podcast, which I'm going to start doing in the mornings as part of either the beginning or end of some of my deep work sessions. So my thought was, if I do my podcast for an hour and I maybe combine it with Twitter space, if I start my deep work session early in the morning and then at hour 2, I actually flip it to doing the podcast, since the podcast is one of my things, even if I don't do that like every morning, because every morning is a little bit much for a podcast. But if I did that, then maybe, and then I could combine that with Twitter spaces. I don't really do much in the evening and I don't really go out and do nightlife stuff as much since I'm older. So the thing is, I've also considered doing a co-stream with one of my friends for X Spaces, formerly Twitter. So the thing is, we might do X Spaces in the evenings, at least on Eastern Standard Time evenings, before I start into my evening routine. Like, so for me, like maybe after dinner time. So like, and after I do my live streams, whenever I do my live stream days, maybe, but maybe not, because with me doing coaching days and live stream days, that's like a lot on my voice, and then doing the podcast. So it would depend. It would depend. So I'm thinking about it. I'm working it out in terms of doing more spaces. It might have to be a once a week thing though, especially to not strain my voice. It might have to be a once a week thing. So I'm still figuring it out. But if I do, I also want to kind of find a way to double dip on it for video content. No, you don't need 40 public watch hours. You need 4,000 public watch hours in 365 days. You need 4,000 watch hours. Yeah, with AdSense, the problem with AdSense is how much you have to sacrifice to, if that becomes your main income stream. If AdSense becomes your main income stream, it becomes mostly people sacrificing their social life and all other aspects and sleep. If you've watched the Colin and Samir interview with MrBeast, he talks about how unhealthy being him is. And I'm glad he's speaking up about it, because too many kids who do look up to him are going to grind themselves into the ground chasing something that may not work out. And he said, nope, don't do it. And he says it's not even healthy for him, and that some of it makes him unhappy, but he's doing it to make other people happy. That's like, if you're very much you want to see other people happy, you're a people pleaser, you can end up overworking and burning out very easily. He burns out all the time, according to what he said in the interviews. What he does works, but at what cost is a real question. I'm trying to go in an opposite direction from the MrBeast strategy and thesis. The MrBeast strategies work. The MrBeast strategies work, but you give up so much and it looks so painful to do. And you could argue whether it's worth it, but maybe it's not, and not for everybody. And certainly not if you're older. And certainly not if you're a family. Like, it would not work. He could not do it if he was married and had children, it wouldn't work, which is maybe something there's a holding back there. I don't want to speculate too much on it, but like maybe. So maybe he wants to go ahead and clear his bucket list of all of his goals, and then maybe he moves to that phase of life, but I don't want to speak for him. But I do know if he was in that phase of life, he could not do what he's doing now without something breaking or someone breaking. It wouldn't work. There's a reason, unfortunately, in YouTube and in entrepreneurship, there's a high divorce rate for a reason. There's a high divorce rate for a reason. And a lot of it is people do not figure out how to make the thing right size in their life, and their ambition overshadows every other aspect of their life. And again, it happens. It happens. I mean, it's like, hey, I'm single. What do you think happened? Like, and in my case, it wasn't, I didn't get divorced or nothing. It's just that it's like, it's hard to make room for everything if you don't have that balance. That's why I believe the best theoretical optimization is if you could figure out working 4 to 5 hours a day, only 4 days a week. If you can figure out 4 to 5 hours a day and still get everything done and make the money that you want and need to make and not have to work any more than that, it leaves a lot of room for a lot of life for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And so that would be my ultimate optimization. Not a 4-hour work week. That might be unrealistic, but a 4-hour work day, and giving yourself a 4-day work week, giving yourself your own 4-day work week. I don't expect employers to do that. I think it'd be ridiculous. I don't think we'd get good customer service with that. I don't think we'd ever get good customer service if we had the 4-day work week for most things. But I think if you are yourself, the entrepreneur or the business owner, that you could get a 4-day work week and a 4-hour work day, 4 to 5 hour work day out of it. But you'd have to optimize around that pretty ruthlessly, and you'd have to get very efficient and very fast at everything. It also becomes more possible if you bring on team members. If you bring on team members, I want you to think about it like this. This is why one of the best things you can do is let go of your editing if you can, instead of editing everything like me and then hiring on that one too late and getting too attached to it. I should have, like, in year 4 or 5, I probably should have let go of the editing and given it to somebody else so I wouldn't be as attached to it, right? And the reason is, if you reduce yourself down to the thing that you're the best in the world at, which is being the talent and doing the research and the scripts and performing the videos, and then you outsource the video editing is the biggest bottleneck for most of you. For most of you, that's taking up 5, 10 hours, 20 hours per video of your life. Imagine getting that back. Now you could make more content if you didn't do that, because someone else's job, someone else's problem. If the video editing is someone else's job, someone else's problem, you immediately get more of your life back. You immediately have the capacity to scale in other areas because that's not holding you back anymore. And again, this is one of the core tenets that I do try to teach in the Academy Pro Group for that reason, is what to delegate, what to eliminate, get rid of things completely, what to automate, and then what to duplicate, right? So delegate, eliminate, automate, duplicate. We duplicate our systems, okay? We duplicate our systems, and we duplicate success, and we duplicate what's working, which is why we build systems, frameworks, templates, and protocols. And we build those things. Some of them we build for you in Awesome Creator Academy. Like, that is a big, important part of this. So some of that is done for you. But you need to duplicate those things and say, here is the thing. I do not deviate from this thing because it always works. So those things are the things you duplicate. You duplicate these systems so that when you onboard and delegate new people on your team, they're doing it your way and they become a clone of you. So you have to duplicate your systems. Then you have to delegate those down to your new hires and train and onboard them so that they're doing exactly what you want the way that you want it. So you clone yourself. So that's why you duplicate, and that loops back to delegating. Okay. So you're delegating those things that don't need you to do them if you duplicate yourself in that person by duplicating the systems and the templates and the styles, stuff like that. That's why you build a branding Bible for your channel. Everything is this font. The logos are this way. The thumbnails are this way. The edits are this way. Like, you do it. It's that you build a style guide, right? We build a stylescape. So we build a stylescape for everything in our brand, right? For our graphics and our videos and everything, our audio, our sound design, all of it. So we did build that. We duplicate that system. We delegate to our staff. Our staff now is doing the duplicated system. Then we eliminate things from our life that do not move the needle for us. If something doesn't move the needle, don't do it anymore. You eliminate it. You get rid of it. Okay. This could also be things in your regular day-to-day life you don't need to do. You delegate them. You eliminate them from the process. You give them to something else. Right. I don't mow my lawn anymore. I do gardening. And I take care of plants because that's my peace and that's my quiet and that's my meditation. But mowing the lawn is not. So I don't mow the lawn. I don't do the edging and trimming. I don't do any of that. That's gone. That's eliminated. I don't do that. Someone else does. So it's things like that. For some of you, that'll be the meal prep and the cooking. So then you get your life back and you get to enjoy things, right? And then you automate. There are things I automate. I can now be in every platform because I can automate things. I can do Streamyard. I can do OpusClip. I can automate things. There are automated sources of my income. That's the affiliate links. That is the digital download products, the done-for-you products like the YouTube Starter Kit, Brand Deal Starter Kit. Later, when we make online courses, that'll automate my cash flow. So now that automates my cash flow. Automated cash flow becomes important, and we'll talk about that in Monetization Mondays more, because the automated cash flow means that aside from waiting on a monthly check from YouTube or anything like that, I have cash flow. That's PayPal and Stripe. That's money in my pocket. That's direct to my account. That's cash flow. You want that. That also comes when you make merchandise for some of you. So for some of you that's merchandise, that gets you off of being a digital sharecropper and living off of AdSense. Now, when you get brand deals, that's monthly recurring revenue. That replaces your salary when you have those 6 and 12-month sponsorships. That's just like an employment contract. So that replaces your salary. Now, that still is going to be a monthly thing, but you're going to have multiples of that on those contracts, hopefully. But that is not cash flow, really, because it's these big lump sums in months or quarters. So, that's going to be great overall. But it's similar to YouTube in the sense that, that's a once a month check. But if you have multiples of them, that's great. Same thing with the affiliate marketing. That's not cash flow as much because typically that's going to be a lump sum payment that comes on the 1st or the 15th or the 20th or something like that. So that's the other reason you have to diversify and build multiple streams of income. And that's why we teach that. It's multiple streams of income because we want to have multiple paydays, and multiple paydays eliminates our anxiety and our inconsistency. We get the brand deals and sponsorships so that we have a consistent, steady paycheck. We do products so that we have cash flow. We always have cash coming in every single day. That's why we would want to do that. So that's why that, in terms of building a monetization strategy, and that's what I specialize in, is that's why you want to diversify the streams of income. You want to diversify the platforms. One of the other reasons we have an email list is because now with ConvertKit for an email list, they're going to do ad revenue too. So you're going to have ad revenue from your email list, sponsorship from your email list, and you can sell your own products in your email list, and you can do affiliate marketing in your email list. That's why growing an email list, like I want to grow an email list. And if you can get that email list to 10,000, get the email list to 50,000, 100,000, you could be sitting there doing thousands of dollars of sponsorship with just your email list, no YouTube required. That would give you safety. And then beyond that, obviously, we want to grow beyond that and have as a hedge. People are like, should I do YouTube and TikTok or YouTube and Instagram? Well, at this point, it's YouTube and Instagram. I know that TikTok and the creator program was alluring, but Instagram, we all know, is better on brand deals. We all know Instagram's better on brand deals. So I would do that. And then there is still money to make from live streams and gifting and stuff like that in Instagram. So I think Instagram is better. Instagram's also social status. It's clout. So it's just better. TikTok also might have government regulation. So I'd much rather YouTube and Instagram than YouTube and TikTok. I'm not telling you not to do TikTok, but I'm saying I'd prioritize Instagram over TikTok personally. You'll grow faster in TikTok. You'll make more money with Instagram long term because you can then sell bulk packages of sponsorship with Instagram and YouTube. Combine that with an email list, you're doing very well. And now you're not dependent on the platforms if you grow the email list. The other thing is, getting into podcasting, that also makes you less dependent. You can now be much more agnostic if you're into podcasting. So that's why I kind of like that setup a lot more. I do know it lends itself more to a thought leader than you being an influencer style creator that's doing entertainment based content. But there's a reason why entertainers are now building podcasts so that when their audience outgrows them, there's a jump off point. And in the meantime, they can get more sponsors and an older audience to take them seriously. That's why entertainers are doing podcasts, because now they can somewhat dip their toe into the ability to grow into a thought leader as they age out if they're not liked or funny anymore. See the difference? And it gives them more platform reach, and they can be agnostic and they can repurpose the content, get multiple YouTube channels monetized off of the clip shows and the YouTube shorts and all that stuff. So the thing is, that's the pipeline. We'll be teaching that in the podcasting workshop that we're doing. So remember, we have the live stream schedule. The live stream schedule is monetization Mondays, workshop Wednesdays, FAQ Fridays. So, that's the direction that we're going. That doesn't mean I'll never make edited YouTube videos, by the way. You're still going to try to get those out, but I'm going to go more live streaming because it's working and because it makes sense for me, and it's part of the larger strategy. It's part of the larger strategy. Also, these live streams eventually are going to also become audio podcast as well. Malevolent Elephant asked, where is the best place to find an editor, Roberto? There's a couple places you can go. Colin and Samir have a job board with the published press. YT Jobs is a job board started by my friend Patty Galloway. There's obviously Fiverr and Upwork. For a lot of you, if you are like me and you like someone local and you don't have a friend or family member that you know has the editing skill set, some of you should look local, and you should turn to people in your local community and look at the college, especially the community college. And you should look at who might be worth giving an opportunity there, especially if they have interest in YouTube and social media. You could get an editor that might be local. And for some of you, that might be better. That might be faster too than working with a remote editor. So that might be something that more of you could look at, is what if we hire local people? We get a local editor from the college system that already kind of understands the culture of YouTube, understands that concept, wants to do it. And then that might be a good situation for both of you. But if you want to hire, you can go to ytjobs.co. That's run by Patty Galloway and his team. That's a job hiring site. Published Press has a job hiring site with Colin and Samir. And there's, of course, Fiverr and Upwork on the freelancer side. If you're looking to outsource overseas because you're a very, very small creator on a budget, the Philippines does very well. You can use onlinejobs.ph, and you can get someone in the Philippines. If you're doing very simple edit work, that can be very affordable for you. You don't have to, YouTube itself, like I said, everything is going global. So since everything is going global, then it might even make sense to have a global workforce. The reason you might want an overseas editor is, think about it like this. You could work on your time zone all day, and then knowing that there's people overseas working while you're sleeping, that means at every hour of the day, something's being worked on for your business. There is an appeal to that. There is something appealing about the idea that while you're asleep over here, on the other side of the world, there are people working hard and diligently on your business, on your content. There's something appealing about that, of knowing that, hey, at all hours of the day, there's something getting done for my business. I do like that idea. So there is some value to it, and that could be a different way to look at it. By the way, you guys can use this link and you can get our free creator playbook. It is a 12-week guide. Sign up for the email list, and you can get that 12-week creator playbook, and it gives you a focus, a resource, and an assignment that you can take action on so that you can grow as a content creator over the next 12 weeks. It doesn't matter what level of content creator you actually are. This is based on the book called The 12-Week Year, and it's about compressing your focus and what you would want to accomplish in a month. What if you accomplish that in a week? And then if you accomplish everything you would in 12 months, what if you accomplish that in 12 weeks? So the 12-week creator playbook is based on the 12-week year, and it is a sprint that you can do to level up as a content creator. And it doesn't matter where you are right now, you can level up. You can always improve. So get that. It is completely free. And like I said, you can also check out awesomecreatoracademy.com. Maybe you want to join us in the pro group, get some support, get some deep dives. We meet twice a week, online video conferencing. We use StreamYard for that. Face-to-face office hours with your favorite YouTube professor, favorite YouTube professor. So you can meet twice a week for office hours. You can also post in the group every day, post your wins, post your questions, and even share information. So that's something we do. Yoga Bliss Dance says, at Furious Robinson, it's best to find other ways to make money via YouTube, like affiliate is what works for me. And of course, course programs. Yeah, affiliates are good. A lot of you, especially with the globalization, you should look at Amazon, but you should sign up for the Amazon influencer program, but in multiple countries. Then if you're doing the translation on your content, you benefit from that more because it scales globally. So that is something that a lot of you should and could be thinking a lot more about. And I think it's a good thing. Jeans says, I can relate to the don't edit when tired. Yeah, editing when tired is how you make mistakes. And it makes a lower quality of content. And it's just not ideal. That's why I'm advocating for this 4-hour creator workday, especially if you're already full-time. For some people, like I said, a lot of that could come down to some outsourcing somewhere. If you still work a 9-to-5 job, if you make money off your channel, I would start to invest that channel. First, I would invest the money. Here's how I would approach being a small YouTuber again. But it's kind of the way I did it, because my difference was what I'm telling you works, because like when I was a freelancer, because I was a full-time freelancer, so I controlled my schedule. So that's why I could wake up early and do stuff, right? But the money I made from YouTube went right back into growing my channel by getting better camera gear, better audio, better lighting, better all the things, right? Better software, all the things. So the thing is, initially investing in the infrastructure first, the things you work with every day to get faster, better, more comfortable, more confident, that makes a difference. So better cameras, better lighting, better camera lenses, little things like this, little gimmicks like, like how I have my switcher, like better podcast microphone, soundboard, all the things, right? Investing in your infrastructure so that you put everything at a push of a button, turnkey system. Like, I mean, the thing you see behind me, that's a stand on wheels that has my big aperture light with my diffuser dome, has my camera on it, have all of that. And then it goes to a monitor that I can see myself in, have a power strip down there. Like, I just literally push buttons and then I'm able to record, right? Same thing for the live streaming. I just flip on that camera, flip on that camera, and push a button, go live, right? So making your hardware and software infrastructure set up for you is one of the first things to invest your money in. And I try to help you make decisions. We're going to go back to making some tech content so you can buy the right things. I'm going to make buyer's guides. I'm going to make a buyer's guide for lighting, a buyer's guide for cameras and lenses, a buyer's guide for audio gear. I'm going to make these buyer's guides. I hope they do well. I know not everyone will watch them. I hope they do well because it will save you thousands of dollars if you watch these, because I'm going to also make versions of these that are budget centric, like this budget, that budget, lights under $200, lights under $200, lights under $500, lights under $1,000. I'm going to do like budget stuff so that you have options. Microphones under $99, microphones under $50, microphones under $200, microphones under $500, and like so on and so forth. I hope that you actually end up watching these buyer's guides when I make them this year, and obviously use the affiliate links, because it will save you money in the long run to buy the best thing in its category for your budget and to better understand why these things cost what they do. Because some things that are like, if you save money, you usually don't save time. If you save money, sometimes you slack on quality. So the thing is, it's finding the best value for price, because it's not like price is what you pay, value is what you get. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. So figuring out the right balance of that is very tricky for people. And I've bought everything. I've even bought everything twice. And I've bought everything twice because I have the basement set up now. So I have the basement set up. We're still doing still have to do some framing for the basement, and we still have to do drywall. And then I'll worry about more of the acoustics later. The biggest problem is going to be the drop ceiling and doing the soundproofing around the pipes. For any of you who've ever done basement work, you know what that's about. So that and the moving some of the things from the studio out into the storage and then setting up the second room, that's going to be, it's a whole ordeal. Okay. So the thing with that is, though, I bought everything multiple times and I bought everything at every budget. I bought cheap stuff when I was a small YouTuber. I beat medium price stuff when I was an intermediate YouTuber. And then I bought 2 or 3 iterations of everything as a big YouTuber. So I've invested in these things multiples of times. I've handed down stuff to my brother for his Twitch streaming stuff, so on and so forth. I've given stuff to small creators before from my setup. When I was cleaning out stuff, when I was moving, I gave away a lot of stuff. So I say all this to say that if I had to start over as a small YouTuber and I was going to invest $1,000 in anything, it's usually hardware and software. So I can spend less time, make stuff faster, and with higher confidence in the quality, right? So then after that, what do I spend money on? If I had to do it over, I would have outsourced my video editing sooner. And that's a big deal because then my time and turnaround would have been better. I could put quality into more of the production and everything else and thumbnails and research and all these other things instead of being on the editing side. And so then I would have made editing someone else's problem. So the thing is, I would say infrastructure, hardware, software, then outsourcing the editing is where your money goes. Somewhere in between or along the way, maybe it's education. Maybe that's coaching. Maybe it's courses. Maybe it's a cohort. Maybe it's a community, something. Because then that can help you figure out what to invest in, what is worth it, what the right choices are, where you're at, better strategies, or better workflows so that when you buy your tools, you use them effectively and you make yourself faster is important because time is the thing you don't get back. So you buy things that make you faster, whether that's tools or knowledge, you use that to get faster. Then it's other people's time and expertise, their manpower, okay? Because time is the one thing that we all are beholden to, right? So we have to optimize around time specifically. And so beyond that, you want, okay, I can be faster now and I can do more, I can do it better. Now, what else would help me do more quality work? Time usually is the thing that improves quality the most, believe it or not, having time. There are resources that give you time, and then there's manpower, and then there's knowledge gives you time. So it'd be your resources, the manpower, and hours behind it, and then time itself and focus. That would be what increases quality. So more people, more perspectives, more expertise, more focus. Instead of generalist, you have specialist. That helps improve quality when there's specialists involved. New knowledge helps improve quality because you don't know what you don't know. And then obviously just more time and energy poured into craftsmanship also improves quality. So if you want to improve quality, that would be how you do it. Those same things also improve quantity and consistency. So quantity and consistency are also improved by that. Okay. The thing that allows you to do that, though, is the monetization piece. Money matters because it lets you buy all of those things. Money lets you buy the resources for better craftsmanship. Money lets you buy the knowledge for more craftsmanship. Money lets you buy back more of your own time, and money lets you buy and invest in more of other people's time and other people's expertise and other people's knowledge too. So that's why it all circles back to you needing the monetization and needing money. So that's kind of my thesis of that part of the creator journey. And, you know, the acronym I use for this is an acronym that spells the word time because it's time, freedom, investment capital, manpower, and then the E stands for expertise and experience. So the thing is, we need these things in order to grow, scale, and improve over time. We absolutely do. And there's no really getting around it at the end of the day. The big advantage I got, and I don't know if this is helpful to a lot of you, is that I became a freelancer first. So it wasn't 9 to 5 to YouTube. It was 9 to 5 to freelance to YouTube because freelancing gave me time freedom. And because I could also, through freelancing, scale my income because now I was project-based and value-based instead of hourly. Then I was able to make money in a different way, which gave me more investment capital. The thing that I did was I improved my experience and expertise. The thing I did wrong, in my opinion, was I didn't buy enough other people's skills. I didn't buy enough other people's skills and manpower. I should have outsourced the editing. I have never outsourced the editing, and that's what I should have done, but I didn't. That would be my mistake. That would be the thing that would scale most people, is if they outsource the editing. Or if you're bad at thumbnails and Photoshop and our workshops aren't enough to get you up to par, then outsourcing the thumbnails would be the other thing that I would say you would invest your money in. You invest your money in outsourcing the editing and the thumbnails, and then the quality of the product gets much, much better, in my opinion. For most of you, not all of you, but for most of you, that would be the play. That would be what you should do. But we'll also have tutorials and training and workshops. for the other stuff to help you improve the skills. If you aren't in a position to hire yet, then the answer is to get fast. This is all making sense to you, says Fee 711 Savage. Yeah, glad this is all making sense. I'm glad that you guys are getting it. Zolo Q just said, I just tested out the Ditto site. I gotta say, it's really impressive. My biggest barrier to growth right now is lack of money to invest. It seems literally expensive for just 30 minutes when I post often. It can be. So that's one of the other reasons to figure out the monetization piece. But you also have to figure out whether you have a global business model. And if you have a global business model, then it makes it more worthwhile. And I told you guys a little bit of how I think a global business model works with products, merchandise, affiliate links, Amazon affiliate influencer program, even potentially with sponsorships. And so if the numbers are justified, if the numbers go up. So that's why I believe that. Angelique, good to see you. Coffee Talk homie. But you, Roberto, are proof that you can achieve this without all of that to a degree. The manpower piece is the part that I didn't. I did everything else, though. I invested in the infrastructure of my stuff. So I spent an exuberant amount of money to scale my stuff. But the thing is, there's a version of buying the right things once because I didn't know better. The buyer's guides will be what lets you buy the right things one time and buy what you need permanently and buy the most permanent version for your budget. So that's why buying the right thing. So that's the investment capital piece. And I did have some investment capital, but I earned it by working my regular stuff because I was also a freelance photographer. So the hardware infrastructure for me duplicated from what I was already doing to make money. Like the things that were making me money as a freelancer also were necessary for the YouTube infrastructure. So I'm very fortunate. That's why I recommend freelancing a lot of times, because if you're a freelancer, you get the Adobe suite. You get the Adobe suite, you already need it for content creation. It's a match made in heaven. You do freelancing. If you learn photography and videography, you can make money, really good money on the weekends with photography and videography. And you already need a camera for YouTube, so it overlaps. If you're doing online work and as a freelancer, you want to have a camera and microphone anyway, to do your online video conferencing with your clients. So you need that podcasting gear anyway. See, that's why freelancer to YouTube pipeline is so powerful. And that's why I'm going to go back to making videos about freelancing, because most of you need to transition to freelancing to make the money to then become a content creator, because that's the better way to quit your job. Or if you quit your job to be a content creator, you can make your stable money by freelancing and kind of split the difference and then go, well, I'm working for me X amount. Like if you want to work for yourself, here's what I would say. Work for yourself and work 20 hours to 25 hours a week on content creation, 20 to 25 hours a week on freelancing. And then you're not worried about the money as much. Instead of go, oh, I can't do the video, this, do that. Because like, it's actually really hard to put 40 hours a week into video. Honestly, it's very hard. And the thing is, it doesn't cash flow well. So I would say you do freelancing so you cash flow, and you do that 20 to 25 hours a week. And then you do content 20 to 25 hours a week. And then you're working 40 to 50 hours a week, just like you did a 9-to-5 job. But now you're not, oh my God, I didn't get views this month. Where's my money? Like, so that would be oh, I'm not monetized yet. Like that'd be the situation. And obviously you wouldn't quit your job before you're monetized anyway. So that'd be my point. So everything you need to be a successful freelancer, honestly, you need those same tools to be a content creator. So it overlaps well enough to where it's a good transition point from a money standpoint for a lot of you. That's why that would be a very, very practical thing, So the freelancing side hustle feeds the YouTube side hustle until either or both can be full-time. And that makes a lot of sense. Because it gives you the investment capital. You can buy the time freedom as a result in many cases. Eventually, especially if you work with people overseas, you can get additional manpower. If you have friends and family, you can sometimes borrow that manpower. Experience and expertise come over time. Sometimes the goal is actually not to quit your day job, but to get a job in the industry that will give you expertise and knowledge that even helps your YouTube or content creator career or podcaster career. That would help you. So like I'll get into more of this, especially on Monetization Mondays. But like, this is a whole thing. And this is why we teach this in Awesome Creator Academy. So make sure you're checking that out. Link is in the description. You can also join our email list and get the free creator playbook. Link is in the chat and in the description. You can check it out here. We're going to end the stream now. I want to give a shout out once again to our great sponsors. They're all linked in the description. So make sure you are checking them out. We have, of course, Streamyard, which is having us stream to 7 platforms all at once right now. OpusClip, where we'll be repurposing to about 4 or 5 platforms. So make sure you're checking out OpusClip and Streamyard. They both have free offers for you to try them out before you buy them. Sign up for Kajabi if you want to do online coaching, courses, and digital products, or a membership website that you fully own. You can do that with Kajabi. Link is in the description down below. You get a 30-day free trial of Kajabi. My answer to that, by the way, if you want to do Kajabi, you can sign up with my link, 30-day free trial, set up a landing page and an offer for one-on-one coaching, charge for your one-on-one coaching so that you only need to get 1 or 2 calls to pay for your monthly fees for Kajabi, and then Kajabi pays for itself. Because as long as you do a coaching call instead of worrying about, oh, I got to build a course in 30 days, oh, I got to build a membership in 30 days, oh, where am I going to get people? Getting 1 or 2 people to sign up for a coaching call is much easier to sell than getting people to buy a course or a product. So if you do that, the thing always pays for itself if you offer a coaching call. So that's how you can turn that 30-day free trial into your business instantly and start cash flowing off of doing the one-on-one coaching calls. That would be the smart thing for most of you. We'll cover this obviously on another Monetization Monday stream that's coming up this week. So again, thanks to our sponsors. All the links are in the description down below. That's it for today. Stay awesome. We're going to close out, of course, with my book trailer. Check out the book. It'll also be linked. Stay awesome, you guys. I'll catch you next time.
I finally did it. I finished my book, Create Something Awesome, How Content Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. The book is available now in paperback and in Kindle, where you can read it on any e-reader or device. And I'm really excited about this. The audiobook is coming soon, probably October 2022. Oh my God, it's so great to be able to have this book done, put it up on the bookshelf, and to know that all of you who appreciate it, you want to hear what I have to say about the creator economy, becoming a full-time content creator, and what the experience and lifestyle of being a content creator actually is like. This is the book. I put 20 chapters in here of the most important things I think that content creators could be focusing on today. I talk about the mental health aspect of being a content creator, getting discouraged, imposter syndrome, not charging what you're worth, and mostly actionable advice around monetizing your content properly, but also how to build an audience on your authenticity and what it's really like to start from zero, even today. So if you're interested, make sure you're checking out the book. You can order it on Amazon. You also probably order it in a lot of other places like Barnes & Noble, and it will be coming to other bookstores soon. Really excited about it. Thank you for all the support and love around the book and the positive reviews. Now go ahead and pick it up and make sure you go out there and create something awesome today.